This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all it counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Welcome to the Ace of Podcast. This is One Nation Radio. Fuck you, Jeremy. Fuck you, Josh. We are in the Tokyo Dome. This is where we are starting. Rich, what's happening?
Oh, Nihon James, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Nihon Rich?
Oh, man, just ready to give the best analysis in New Japan Pro Wrestling and, just display the superior knowledge and intellect and, foresight really for the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, some people like to watch all the Road to shows, like to watch all the shows that are in Indian Arena or whatever else. No, we don't do that. We watch one show per year and we cover it here on One Nation Radio.
Seems like it, right?
That's what it feels like. It's like Rich was like, man, Kenny Omega not there, I'm not there neither. He pulled that full on Brock Lesnar Vince McMahon shit, and then I'll be out here watching the G1s. I'd be like, hey man, I don't really care about what you do with the G1 because ultimately it's gonna lead to somehow Jay White sneaking his ass into the dome somehow in this title main event and losing. So it don't fucking matter no way. So yeah, now that Jay White's gone, Naito's gonna be on top. Before we get to that, before we get into all our jokey jokes and everything we got to say, Wrestle Kingdom 18, I thought it was a great show. I thought the last half of the show, once you get to the singles matches or trios match or title match, if you will, it was a really fun show. I'm always going to want my biggest shows of the year to be top heavy in the back end like that. And it really worked out for me. And I really enjoyed the show. Rich, what are your thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom 18?
I thought it was a very good show with nothing that I loved in all caps.
Gotcha.
And I don't think there's a true match of the year candidate on this show, but there were a lot of great matches, but there was it just felt kind of weird. But I saw a lot of good efforts from guys that, quite frankly, it's man, I just seen these guys when they were younger and better. So it's there's some of that. And, I listen to Keepin It Strong Style every week. So I'm pretty, caught up in everything I need to know with New Japan, just playing guys. But yeah, it is a very interesting time, I think, for New Japan, as you mentioned, with Naito now going forward. And a lot of the people, I think, in the know, they're really calling for a booking change, as far as they want Gato up out of here. And just because Gato's ideas, it feels like we've seen him. We've seen all his tricks. He's not fooling us anymore with anything. We know his patterns. We know his routines, his stories. They just seem like they've all been kind of told. And, you look at some of this card, it's how much, what are you really excited about going forward? I don't know if you've caught up on
I have not. I know nothing about what happened.
New Year's Dash and all that.
I have no idea what happened.
I'll break the glass now. So they're bringing Matt Riddle in, and he's facing Hiroshi Tanahashi
for the TV title.
whatever's going. Yeah, he actually is. Nick Nemeth is around. Actually, I'm pretty positive on
Finley.
Nick Nemeth. But you're looking at David Finley. They're still continuing Naito versus Sonata for some reason. So there's more. The young guys really haven't factored in yet. A belt looks like it's headed towards Evil because Tama Tonga's on his way out of New Japan. So it's like Josh Smith on Keepin It Strong Style did not feel encouraged coming out of Wrestle Kingdom, and I was kind of the same. I was like, oh, that was awesome on January 4th, and then I watched the next day, and I was like, I don't know. I think the only really kind of exciting thing on the horizon, and this is going to sound bad, because it's like, oh yeah, of course, you might be excited about the white guy, but like it seems like Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be set up to have a really big year. I think he's going to win the IWGP Championship this year, and
he's really, your top Gaijin right now.
I'm saying, really, like looking at it, it's like I think he does need to interject himself into that mix. Like he's been knocking on the door forever,
years
over there. So,
years.
I really think that's something that's going to happen, but I guess we can, before we do all that, I wanted to talk about our new shows, and then we'll get into the review and all that.
Okay.
But we do have 2 new shows on the network, kind of hand selected by myself. I'm like, I think the audience of Social Suplex Network and One Nation Radio would really, really enjoy them, between Trish and Sarah and the Tonal Talk podcast. I actually found the Tonal Talk podcast through Trish, who did a guest spot on there. Then I started listening to Tonal Talk, thought they were hilarious. Leah, of course, joined us for the show after CM Punk was fired.
That's right.
And Trish and Sarah came today and put their first show up. So both shows are out on the network now. Really proud of how the audience is taking to them. They've put some new life into our Discord as well, and I have stamped both of these shows. So like I think Tonal Talk is a very entertaining listen, kind of lighthearted, and also like kind of just they point out astute things that you might not think about from your perspective, I think. And then Trish and Sarah is like just like it's like a dead serious, but at the same time very funny in their own way, kind of look at the business end of pro wrestling, like very meticulous, very detailed, very plugged into knowing different numbers and also where things are coming from. So I think they're 2 great shows, and it really, like, I've always wanted to get more women on the One Nation, or not the One Nation Radio, like on the Social Suplex Network podcast network, because it's like it was not, for me, it was like not enough to just have like one, because like I kind of reject that notion of like, this is our female podcast. It's like, no, like we can have more than one. Like it's not a limit, like or anything on that. So
we would have been had more if those damn Sierra and Tanya's wanted to join up, but they never really wanted to. They like us, but they really want to they want to keep us away. But there's still time. We'll wear them down eventually.
Yeah, so like that, like I thought this, a lot of this comes down to availability, the being able to do a show consistently, and not everyone is able to. But I just want everyone that listens to this show, give them a try, and also check out Imp as well, who is like has been in the Social Suplex orbit for a long time. Yeah. James and I both done reviews with him over on Wrestling Headlines for years. Chris is back with Chris Things, with Wrestling Art, and we're really just deciding like, how can we make this network even better? Like, so Keepin It Strong Style, they're gonna have some exciting announcements on what they're planning to do with their show pretty soon. I'm not gonna release that out. I'll let them take care of it. But
you're not gonna do the CM Punk thing like right before All In, saying that Brian Daniels is a week away or whatever. You're not gonna do that. Yeah. Not gonna do it. I appreciate.
Not gonna do that. But
I don't know how you get heat for that one. That was like that's super low on the radar thing CM Punk did at AEW, but like he let the cat out the bag on that was so hard, and it was like Tony Khan. No one was mad about that backstage. Nobody. Okay. Sorry. Back to the lecture at hand.
But yeah, make sure you guys check those shows out, and I think they're great. So like I listened to them personally; they were already in the rotation for me. So I have nothing else to say.
Okay, so I guess we go back to getting into the show of Wrestle Kingdom 18. So the Rambo is the Rambo. Chase Owens comes out, traditional like any other.
You know, I gotta say
Ishii
this.
Came out there. Go ahead.
One man army.
Yes, that was there's points of the thing where it's like, okay, you have Ishii comes out at one point against I think it was Cobb, Okan, and Hanare, and it was basically like, one man army. You got stand on business, and he was out here taking their best shots. That was fun. You eventually end up getting Connors and Coughlin in there, and they were holding their ground for a little bit. Then who's the original dude with the Iron Claw for Taichi had it? I forgot.
Iska.
Yeah, Iska comes out there. He's jacked to the gills. Who knows?
That man fresh off a cycle.
Look, look. He better be careful over there. They don't play. I'll leave it at that. But he anti-aged. He comes out there and he going nuts. And then he looks for and then he's getting beat on. And then next thing you know, Taichi hands him the claw and he goes nuts with the iron claw and everything. And then Taichi's like, yeah, man, you can still do this. And he turned and because he's a savage animal, he turns on Taichi. I think they double eliminate each other. And then by the end, I forgot who the final four were. But yeah, it was just it's another goofy Rambo, just like it always is. It's never nothing to pay attention to really, but it is what it is.
I wanted it to be even more goofy. Like I wanted it to be
go full Stardom.
Yeah, just
oh my God.
Like where's the great Kabuki? Like like I appreciate them bringing Iska back, but I'm like, yo, there ain't nobody else hanging around. Like there's no like weird people you can bring in. Like, but yeah. Besides that, yeah, this is just kind of a nothing match. It's amazing. Great Okan. I was told it was this huge prospect years ago. That boy is falling behind.
Hey, I mean, I never thought he was gonna make it just based on the look.
Same.
Yeah. Like he's entertaining at points, but like he's entertaining and like he gets attention that like you probably don't want for your company. Like when he out here doing all this stuff with what seems to be the prostitutes or the sex workers is a better way to put it. It's like, hey man, this company is involved with like toys and stuff. Like I'm not saying anything's wrong with sex work. Get it how you live. I'm saying that if you are a person, but if you are a representative of this particular company, they also sell the toys, it's going to be hard to sell toys. You know what I'm saying? Like, so maybe, pick and choose your battles, pick and choose your battles. But, yeah, man, he just, I remember when he first started, like, Meltzer was on his ass. Like he didn't like the look. He didn't like the work and whatever else. And then he kind of acquitted himself in his first G1. And it's just like, that's kind of, it's basically where he's at. He's a person that's going, go around 500, get about 10 points in the G1. He might get a title shot here and there, but nah, like I think all these new guys that came in, like Yamura, Tsuji, even Ren still, like they got better prospects. They got better future prospects than Okan at this point.
Yeah. So IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match. Catch 2-2, Francisco Akira and TJP. They defeat.
That wasn't TJP. That was the Aswan. Yeah. How you pronounce it?
Aswang or something.
Yeah.
They defeated Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney.
Yes.
And man,
this match was good.
But this was all right, but there was some stuff.
There was no crowd heat for it, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, like there was some stuff on commentary I really took exception with when they were talking about there's like, this is just like the Young Bucks with the IWGP Junior. I was like, no, it is nothing like that. Like,
Okay.
Like those guys used to go open the dome and it would be electric. It would be incredible.
Rich,
and it would be exciting.
Rich, last year with Yo and Leo versus Catch-22 was way better than this. Right? It's just
this was just like
it was good. It was in the Oswan thing, it got a huge pop from the reveal and everything. Like, I'm not ready to shit on it and say it's just goofiness because he was telling a good story with it. It's just he has to work the kinks out with it to make it relatable. And it's like I don't like okay he is this mythical creature but he's sailing and it's his first match and it's like okay I'm willing to give it room because obviously TJP's talented. He's an asshole. He's talented. I
kind of want to just see him go crazy. Turn your brains off. Do some flips.
Like if he had a regular match and all of a sudden there was a spot or there's a moment where he just went completely ape shit or whatever else, I've been in with that. But I mean he still got the win, so whatever.
Yeah. After that, we got the World Television title match. President Ace Hiroshi Tanahashi defeats Zack Sabre Jr. In an under 10-minute match that was pretty fun. And I was like, Hiroshi Tanahashi at the Dome. First order of business as a president, I'm strapping myself up. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. It's like, hey, man, you've been the champion for a year. Everyone thought that, it was going to end up on one of the young guys or whatever else. And this was the young person belt. First champions. Sabre, who's in his fucking over 35. And then, Tanahashi, who's in his 40s. Like, nah, this ain't for, you thought it was for the young boys. Nah, this ain't for the young boys. This for the old guys that can't go 25 minutes no more. That's what it's for. you get your short sprint title match. Like this is like a championship, another excuse to do another division. Fine by me. Look, man. Tanahashi wins. I'm never gonna be upset when Tanahashi wins. It's funnier with the whole new president. Was this his first move, executive decision? Who knows? But whatever, man. You can always play it off as it's time for you to retire. It's time for you to move up, and as you move up, I'll just hold on to this belt while you move up. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
this clearly screams of losing up for him.
Scheming.
Yeah, exactly.
Plotting.
Exactly. Tanahashi, this figure that everybody loves, and it's so funny, when the Ace does anything, and we just all love him, and then all of a sudden it turns to a tyrant. Like, who knows?
Oh my god! Hey, Seth Rich Rogan said, it's great. They should put the TV title on older and older dudes, LOL. He said, Kenta Kobashi winning the title, winning the belt at Power Struggle 4 stars. Bro, that would be fucking hilarious.
Yuji Nagata, come on down.
Yeah, Yuji Nagata, Suzuki, Kojima. They just start putting bring Tenzan back. Bring Tenzan back. Why not?
Yes. Where's Kawada? Bring Kawada in.
Oh, God.
Let's go. But up next we had Yu Uemura versus Yota Tsuji. Just over 10 minutes. Uemura gets the win over Tsuji, and I was not happy with this.
Neither was I.
I was not happy with this. And the whole kind of meta story around this, or actually the real story around this, is they've had all these matches, and it seems like Tsuji's always been a step ahead of Uemura. Right. And then this is the first time ever that Yota Tsuji's been on the back step to Uemura, but I don't feel like they did enough to drive this home. I don't think they gave these guys enough time. Yota Tsuji still did all the cool stuff and lost, which kind of is starting to become the pattern with him, going literally back to Dominion last year. I think he has it. I think I don't see why you got to wait. He's not, young. He's 30 years old. So it's like you can go with this guy and get him going. And I guess they're like, they don't want to do that right now for whatever reason. Like maybe it's a setup for something down the road. But I thought he was clearly the more impressive guy here. Uemura did a couple of things that were impressive, and he kind of projects as I already see what lines these guys are going to go down almost already. But it feels like Tsuji is he has like a flashing light around him. Like, it's so easy. Like, he's a meme. He can fly.
Yeah.
He's big.
Yes.
Got the color scheme. He's got the outfits.
Got
he's
the hair.
In the LIJ.
Yep. Got the smile. Got all that.
Smile. Yeah. Like, what are like
talks crazy shit. Yeah.
Talks a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
This is the fucking guy. Like,
I mean, I kind of out of the four we have out of this class of the last year and a half. Yeah, I say so.
Like I've spoken to people in the wrestling business that are like backstage power players and exalt the virtues of Yota Tsuji is a guy who you're going to want to look out for, you know, in New Japan. Like, in, you know, if you're working with New Japan, that's the fucking guy you want to go get or whatever. Like, you want to spotlight that guy. That's him. So, like, yeah, man, like, this result is almost like a dopey result, it seems like.
I mean, to me, it looks like you look at that result in the next match after that result, and it's like, oh, they're trying to carry the two that are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
The two that need to win the most, they gave them to them, and then, like, you know, they can tell the story of down the line 2-3 years, and like it's been a back and forth journey as opposed to like these two were clearly the superior ones, and they, as far as like the crowd's reaction to them and going in the style and what they do, you're gonna move them forward. Yeah, that's what it felt like. So I don't mind that, you know. I don't mind that. But like, you just watch you see Yamura come out, and then you see Tsuji come out, and it's like, they're both, you know, they're both what AEW. They're both what New Japan want out of their young guys. But Tsuji just comes off as he has that plus more. And then like the size factor, and then you see him at his size. Was he like 230, 230-ish?
Yeah, like I feel like I don't know.
Maybe Tanahashi, obviously, right? He was before he even went off to the scourge. He was bigger than Tanahashi, but like you see how he's bumping and stuff, and the way he's moving is like, there aren't guys that are built like that are that size that move and bump like that, and if they do, they don't do it for long. So you might want to capitalize on that.
I was gonna say, like, maybe does it feel like this guy maybe is closer to his ceiling than like the rest of them?
I don't know, because obviously it's still early in the game. But the thing is, like, if he's going to wrestle in that style, you know, because obviously, you know, he did the Real Pro thing. He was in Mexico. If he's going to wrestle this style and he's going to be that size, this ain't going to be for long. You need to get to it now, as opposed to waiting. So that's just my opinion. But like the guys that, you know, spend expensive time in Mexico that we know of and on excursion, their bodies beat to shit and they had broken necks. So, you know, and that dude was out here, you know, getting suplex on his neck all throughout this match and taking big bumps. So, and he's bigger than any of the dudes we saw before. So you would just assume something bad's gonna happen to him. So you might want to capitalize on him before he can't go at that level anymore. Or tell him to tone it the fuck down. It's one of the two.
Yeah. We'll keep checking in on Yota Tsuji. like if there's something about that guy, like he is someone that makes you want to watch him. And also like go out of your way to watch him. So tag team match.
Before we move on.
Yeah.
I had to pull up the background because look, man, y'all can't tell me that this isn't a Dirty Sprite album cover that Future just didn't think of. You cannot tell me this motherfucker does not look diabolically toxic and evil. You can't tell me this man ain't got 3 baby mamas. You can't tell me he don't. Anyway, let's move on.
Yota Tsuji fucked your bitch with some Gucci flip flops. Is that what you're saying, James?
Yes. He just took a piss in all those codeine that came out. Yes.
Yeah. Tag team match: House of Torture, Evil and Renderita versus Kaito Kiyomiya and Shota Umino. I think I got this one right from the prediction show. I was like, Kaito Kiyomiya is on that team, but then they pinned Shota Umino, so I'm like, well, then after all the House of Torture bullshit and all this, I was just like,
Ren got his ass whooped up and down in this match, and at the end, he hit Shota with the Hindu push-up bar, and then won, and then sold as if he was destroyed and could barely walk back to the dugout. I was like, this is a totally unimpressive performance. I understand that Shibata is no longer like with the LA Dojo and all that kind of stuff. He's now a Tony Khan talent and everything. But he's gonna fall. I see Momo Watanabe in Oedo Tai-Ren all over this. Like, this is like,
holy shit.
I ain't even gotta say that. I got Show in House of Torture over this. He's finna go die. He's right fucking there. Remember
like that
Show?
man,
Remember when he was really good?
Like James, this is Dookie in The Wire. Like, once you start hanging around with those fucking junkies, what are you gonna turn into?
All that potential, and you hang. Yep.
My man Jay Teodoro will appreciate that, but yeah, man.
Sad shit.
I just see Ren Narita and I start feeling bad for him. I'm like, damn, they got him near evil. Like, oh well.
Yeah. And like, bro,
niggas knows.
It was hilarious watching that match. And like, he was clearly the fourth worst wrestler. It's like, wow.
Kaiser Kiyomiya, you got to go back to the pants. I'm not feeling the look. Shota Umino, this man came out. He came out on the bike.
He was out here looking like Evel Knievel with the joint he was wearing. I don't know. You remember Evel Knievel?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like Evel Knievel. And then he went out there and lost, and I was like, huh? Evel Knievel.
That man work with them with those pants, like the all the way down joints, like he's got knee braces on or something. I was like, is that something to watch? Is this man's knees already on the clock?
Style rough, man. Style's rough.
It's tough, man.
Black Saber said he's on the bike like Manami Toyota. Not quite. Not quite. He was on a bike similar to Manami. He was not on the bike like Manami Toyota. No, that was a little different. Like, it's always funny to think about like the All Japan Women's like that run or whatever else, and they're like, it's a like Rossi doesn't book tragedies except for Akira Hokuto never winning that belt. And it was like, you ever seen Manami Toyota on that bike? That wasn't no tragedy. That was a plan. That wasn't a bug. That was a feature. Like, there's a reason why she won that belt like 5 goddamn times. Anyway, we move on.
Never open weight title match: Tama Tonga versus Shingo Takagi. And James,
this match is great. Yeah.
Shout out to Joe and Rich. This is the first time I opened the notebook, and it was for Tama Tonga, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So when I was watching this show, somehow the news had got to us, or to me, that Tama Tonga was wrapping up with New Japan, coming soon, whatever. So I was like, "Oh, he's gonna lose this match or whatever," and I was like, "Fuck, I got spoiled or whatever." But whatever, I'm starting the match anyway, so I started watching it. And I'm like, it just keeps getting better and better and better. And they're hitting each other hard as fuck. And they're getting up and they're kicking out of shit and they're firing up. And I'm like, this is the best match of Tama Tonga's life. And then
that's what I thought off the top of my head. Yeah.
Then like I was like, oh, Shingo Takagi. Shingo was like, yeah, we in the dome. I'm not having that shit. Like, you better come to wrestle because I'll be here. So I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars, James. And I was like, I think this is the match that I like the most at the dome.
Okay, so I went 4.5.
Tama Tonga won, and I got I was shocked. I was like, what? And that made it even better for me. So
yeah, okay. So first things first. I had mentioned this while I was watching because I watched this on delay, unspoiled, and I said to you like, "Hey man, one thing's for certain, like." You ain't ever got to guess this. Like when we talk about, the Vaders, the Stan Hansens, the Terry Funks or whatever else the Steve Williamses of the world in Bob Saps. We talk about like the all-time Gaijins or whatever else. Hey man, AJ Styles belongs on this list because any goddamn time anyone pulls out a Styles Clash, people lose their minds in that New Japan audience. They lose it. They love it so much. Like when this goes back to the G1 2 years ago, when Ospreay hit the Styles Clash.
Kenny did it in 2016.
Wow, yeah, also well, but like anytime he gets pulled out, lose it. People lose it. They remember him. They want him back. They want to put him in his Hall of Fame if there's a such thing for New Japan Pro Wrestling. But yeah, man, I'll say the Bloody Sunday and all that kind of stuff, the Finn Balor stuff, or the Devitt stuff. It was an awesome match, and like some of the like makeshift counters to get out were just like, this is why I love New Japan Pro Wrestling. Is like the thought that went into getting out in the Great Escape to get out of avoiding being put away. It was awesome. It was an awesome match.
This seemed like a goal watch for Tama Tonga. He was like, looking around after posing with the belt. And I was like, well, if this is how he's going to go out, like he's always been, he's been there years and years. So I think it's a good thing they gave him that moment.
Also, it's the 1/4 show, so it's also the 1 year anniversary of a year ago when he had a match that wasn't so good with someone that was an inferior talented Shingo Takagi. And it's almost like Tama Tonga shows up to work at this point. Now he's a babyface, and it's like a really good wrestler that is trying to have his best matches. But if you put him in there with someone that is cooked, it ain't gonna work. But you put him in there with someone of the best wrestlers in the world, he got one of the best matches of the year. And 4.5 stars. Sorry, that's gonna look. That pull a notebook again. Yeah, that's gonna get some votes for the top 100. That's gonna get some votes for the top 100 for the years out. Will it make it? I don't know, because it's early. It's always a lot of matches, but people will remember that match.
Yeah. IWGP Tag Team Title match. Gorilla's Destiny, Phantasmo, and Hikuleo against Bishamon. This is a title change here. It's like title versus title. Bishamon loses, shockingly. Yep. And I was like, man, El Phantasmo and Hikuleo, they some real two dudes with attitude ass motherfuckers. And then they started jump high-fiving each other. Like, after that, I was like, and, Phantasmo was doing the super kicks and, catching Hikuleo with some. But I was kind of shocked by this. I thought this was pretty good. I probably went like 3 3/4 on this. But they had less than 10 minutes. So, but it really feels like, like Goto and Yoshihashi, they're just like these dudes that have been around forever. They command respect. And it's like, yeah, man, these guys are rock solid in the middle of this shit. Like, you can split them off against any champion, really, like that you want, if you want to put them back in singles.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer them. I think they're at a nice stop right here in their careers where like this is how they stay around and stay relevant. Is like they kind of are like the aces of the tag team division, which they've been now at this point. And I think this is. I don't want to break them up. I like them so much as a team. Like even the part where now we're like, they're also wearing the white gear together and everything. Like I don't want to break that up. Like let them go out there and like win the damn tag titles like 8 times. Who cares? Because I mean, like what's the alternative? Like Goto's never going to get to the top. Neither is Yoshihashi. Like let them be that team, and then like until we figure out some all-star team for them to be up against for the next feud. Like let that be it for them, and also they can win those back. Later in the year, or whatever else. Because like thinking about that is like, okay, ELP. We talk about these guys and like they don't want to stay in Japan all the time anymore.
And also, like you see all these contracts that are
right.
Like, obviously, the New Japan contracts come due at the beginning of every year. So like, there's a little bit of leg pulling going on with this stuff.
Right.
But it seems like a lot of these guys are going very public with this shit. Like, as far as like leaking their contract status to reporters, like, yeah, my shit's up, or I'm working without a deal. Somebody come get me because somebody come get her. Like, that's what it seems like a lot of these guys are doing right now.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Triple, do you see me over here? Tony, do you see me over here? Can I get a bag? Oh no, okay.
Yeah. You definitely have a point. Do you move on to basically like the top half of the card now?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah. At this point, I was like, man, there's only been one time I opened the notebook, and then I kept it open.
Yep. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Title, Hiromu Takahashi versus El Desperado. Look, I think we're at a point now where it's safe to say, like, depending whatever your favorite Desperado and Hiromu match is, it's already happened. It's not going to happen. They're not going to top, like, for me personally, right? My favorite match is their Best Super Juniors final from 2020 or 19, whichever one it was. Not 19, 20.
20.
Yeah, because like Hiromu was out for 19. So where like, you know, he pulls off the mask and then all of a sudden the exposed turnbuckle, he hits him with the fucking, you know, time bomb into the turnbuckle and all that crazy shit they did. That's my favorite Hiromu and Desperado match. I enjoyed the shot this match. And it was Desperado's time to finally say, I'm better than this fucking guy, for at least for now, or at least for tonight. And he took it to Hiromu. Before Hiromu could even get out of the truck fit, he beat this man's ass. He dove on that man. He was on his ass. Like he worked over the knee a lot. Made it really hard for Hiromu to get stuff going. Obviously he did eventually, but yeah, he just had Hiromu's number like throughout the whole entire match, and then he won pretty decisively. Like this was like
this shit was handed.
What do you say? What do you say? 65-35,
bro. This shit was like a nice 15-point win for Desperado. Like yeah, or it's like yeah, man. Yeah. It was like a 91-78 win where it was like yeah, he fucking clamped him up. Like it just won.
Yep, that's what it felt like. And like it was very fun. And like Hiromu, it was like, hey man, like sorry brother, like you gotta go win your 20th best Super Juniors to get it back. It's what it comes down to. You gotta start at the bottom. Yeah, you gotta face Wato in the final this next year.
There was an interesting comment.
I can't even joke about that because Wato made the final this year or last year. Yeah.
Did not make Wrestle Kingdom though. I see.
Okay, can we go back to the Rambo since we talking about people that we think are clowns, right? Like we made fun of our Wato over the years. The Rambo, we've left out the one important part.
Oh my god, Yo,
Show and Yo,
my god,
Yo came out there and he had a track suit on,
looking like he was ready for a Missy Elliott video,
and he had like the tiny shoes that are like socks, and he's sprinting. He run like Forrest Gump with an arm way up here. And I'm like, what the fuck is Yo doing? What is this? I don't recall this gimmick change. What is this? And then Show comes out. He goes back up the ramp and goes to face off with Show. Show, you already know, like, bro, you know I got it on me. You know what you doing? He pulled out the wrench, of course. You know I keeps it on me. They struggle for the wrench. Yo wrestles the wrench away. Tongue twister. And then instead of like going to rock Show with the wrench, he does, bro. Do you see this dance that nigga did, bro? Do you remember the dance?
I don't remember the dance.
He sticks his arms out like so, and then he shimmies his legs like back and forth. And I'm like, yo, what is this goofball doing? Then he goes to swing the wrench. Show blocks it, and then he basically like chokes out Yo by the wrench and kind of like hangs him off the edge of the ramp. And I was like, yo, I've never seen somebody be such a geek. I was like, I don't know what this thing is, but Leo Rushi's come back and saved this man's career. Like, it's going, look, non-ironically, it's going into the shitter. It's going into the shitter.
Yeah, but between Show and Yo, that's like, yo, I remember when y'all were young guys with potential, that y'all were a cool team. Y'all had lots of good matches with a lot of different teams, and everybody wanted to see the breakup and shit. Well, y'all saw it.
Yeah. It was like Desperados at one time said, hey, when he basically murdered him on the promo. He was like, hey man, y'all are still together. Y'all are not interesting. Y'all need to break up. What the fuck's going on? And they listened to him, and
that was sabotage.
And Desperado was like, all right, I guess y'all are not over anymore. So I guess I have to now be the at least the 1B of the juniors division over you young niggas.
Elite level working.
He worked them, suckers.
So
now what's next? Yeah. Now it's time. Now it's Wato's turn to make Best of Super Juniors finals. Not Show or Yo. What the fuck? I could not imagine after what Shingo and Sho were doing to each other in 2019 and 20, that Sho would be where he is. Just
sad.
God damn it, man.
So there was a comment that was saying Hiruma said he's never going to wrestle Desperado.
Yes,
I think either for the belt or the Dome again,
or
without it being the main event.
It's both, unless it's the main event. Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's all right. Are they going back to 2 days?
I don't know about 2 days, but it sounds like someone's going to be, one of them two is going to be help reviving those Never Trios titles for Wrestle Kingdom, because like both of them need to be on the card. But if they gonna face each other, then what we gonna do?
Yeah, are they talking about like Wrestle Kingdom Day 3? Like,
oh man,
one of those, or
Wrestle Kingdom Day 3? Ugh.
I don't see it, but
I don't.
That would be a worthwhile reason to have another match. And
I definitely don't see it. I definitely don't see it now
it.
with Muto not around. I definitely don't see it. Like, what's the point of calling over Noah now? And Muto ain't there to help you draw at Yokohama Arena.
Yeah. IWGP Global Heavyweight title. I don't like this belt. It's small. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's like it's too small for all the men. It seems like, that shit should go. They should send that shit to Stardom. Like, I don't like it would look better with their athletes. Like, these guys all standing for this on this thing, and it looks small. The plate's all too big. The belt is all too skinny, and I'm just like, they're going to war for this. I'm like, y'all got rid of the V4 IWGP belt. The fucking IC belt and the fucking red belt to replace it with these two other fucking monstrosities, like, essentially. And it's
they're not even bad. They're just not as good as what they updated it, which makes you be like, why did you update it to begin with if you're going to put in it, if you're not going to make better aesthetic changes? Yeah, I'm with you.
And they burn the lineages of all of them. That's like the more important part. But
you're right.
I'll get to the match. I didn't love this as much as I saw like a lot of folks loved it or whatever. For me, it was a little bit too. It felt like it wasn't a serious match. Like, it felt like they were just like, all right.
Well, I mean, the story
they kind of exposed the thing, because I watched the press conference ahead of time. Like, with the deal, we're gonna whoop David Finley's ass, and it's just like, oh, I kind of just like I would have preferred, like, if they did that same thing and didn't tell me they were doing it ahead of time, I think I might have liked it better.
Okay, I didn't see the press conference, so I got lucky by not seeing that.
Gotcha, but like, and then from there, it just felt like a big dumb match. Like, and like, I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. It was just like, all right, we're just gonna just try to. It didn't really feel like it meant much. If that makes any sense. I'm probably explaining it poorly, but
I mean, if it's for them throwing away the lineage to what was at that point the number 2 belt in the promotion to come up with a new belt for no good reason whatsoever, a worse design, and it's going on and ends up in the hands of, like, by far the least over person in the match. So yeah, it is a big dumb match ultimately, regardless of how good it would have been or wasn't or is or isn't. It was a big dumb match because. What are the look at the ends, right? So, and it's never mind. I'm gonna get to it in a second, but yeah, man, I love this match. I thought this match was awesome. I thought it was super fun. I thought that, like, some of the near falls in the spots, like, to where someone is incapacitated and like someone's stealing a pin. I thought some of them were like actually like things I don't recall ever seeing before. So yeah, I thought some of the action was awesome. I also like the part where, like, we are going to beat Finley's ass, and then we're going to go in here and we're going to have our mini match. And then he's going to basically play spoiler throughout the whole thing. And, like, I thought that Finley played a good job of spoiler. And ultimately at the end, he ends up winning. And, like, also, we didn't mention this. Ospreay's entrance. My God.
Boy. Look, before you say that, James, with Ospreay's entrance, when I saw that, and then I saw how they were reacting to Tetsuya Naito in the main event, I was like, well, why couldn't they have just been Naito versus fucking Ospreay in the main event? It sounds like they would have reacted to him. It sounds like the Japanese fans would have loved Will Ospreay just the same if he was the IWGP champion going into that thing.
Rich, we've seen 2 Will Ospreay in Tetsuya Naito matches. That should have been the main event of this show. like, what are we talking about?
For all this for 27,000, right? And I was seeing people, going into this.
27,000. Look. Sonata is.
I was saying that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
People were acting like 40,000 people were about to be in the dome and all this other shit, whether they were joking or serious. It's on the internet, so I can't tell a lot of the time, right? Mm-hmm. But it just seemed like it was just this thing that just needed to happen. I'm here to say it could have been fucking anybody in the ring with Tetsuya Naito.
That's where I was going to get at. Like, I don't know how much that story of Sonata added to the draw, but I do know that the roll call was the fucking draw, the number one draw. Like, regardless of they had the match in New Japan Cup last year, and he beat Naito, and he became the champion at Sakura Genesis. He's been the champion the whole time, and all that kind of stuff. It was an unsuccessful title run that was propped up. The only thing that was saving grace was that Naito was going to take it off him, and everyone was going to be super happy because he finally got to do the roll call. We knew what was going to happen. Like, look, I think what they did post-match for Sonata actually does help him as a star in the future. But that has nothing to do with the walk-up to the show. None at all. So yeah, I'm with you. They could have put anybody in there aside from Okada in there, and they would have got that 20 or damn near 30,000. Yeah, I'm with you.
That reaction to Ospreay in the beginning, that was like a thank you. That was like a you've been here for 8 years.
Yep.
We saw you grow up essentially,
yep.
And we're here for you, and we appreciate you, and thank you, and give us one more.
Yep.
That's what it felt like, and it was like a really, really special thing that I think Will Ospreay should always remember. And he did come out there dressed ridiculous, but
yeah. So the Jack the Ripper thing, I like, it didn't work for me when Balor was doing it in NXT, so whatever. But what I will say is that Ospreay's not done with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but he's done as like, oh, this is number one a place, right? And he's left a legacy behind. He's one of the all-time great gaijins in the history of Japanese pro wrestling. And people aren't going to think about it in that way, but he absolutely is. And we talked about AJ Styles, a few minutes ago. He's one of the all-time greats. Like, you look at that match guide from 2016 to now, it is filthy. It is absolutely filthy. He's had some of the greatest matches I've ever seen. And I feel like they did not maximize what they had, his tenure. They absolutely did not.
It never let this man win a G1.
Nope.
They gave him that very brief IWGP title run that happened in the middle of the worst part of the pandemic.
Yep.
He never gets it back. Right. He's carrying around the fake belt or whatever.
Yep.
For whatever. And then he never gets it back. Never even gives another shot at the thing. And they wasted his time the last couple years. I'm going to say it. They wasted his time. And all this guy did was go around the world, be this great global ambassador. And it was like Will Ospreay. Every time he showed the AEW, it was like he was trying to wrestle his way off the island. That's what he was doing, it felt like.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, man, like, how much younger is this guy going to get? He's not getting no younger, especially like, the very physically taxing style. You talk about the match list that he submitted, and it's just like they never wanted to go with him. I just keep coming back to that, and this is more proof.
And the sad thing is like the person that was in his way was Jay White, and it's like we knew what it was. Then it's like, bro, Ospreay's better than him. Like, and no knock against Jay White, he's a great wrestler, but like there is a ceiling that he just cannot reach that Will Ospreay can, because Will Ospreay, like, since 2019, has probably been the best in-ring performer in the world. Or not probably, has been, right? And it's like, okay, man, you keep doing this, and it's like, well, This is Will Ospreay third from the top in the Dome, and we just saw Jay White in the main event on his way out.
Look how they sent those two guys out.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like, good. Like, I'm glad him and he got to have that match with Kenny Omega last year. Like, arguably the greatest match that's ever taken place in the Dome. And his reward next year was
that's Kenny Omega's second best match at best in the Dome. But whatever.
Like,
it's up there. Like, look, there's so many things that Ospreay's done that's been Wrestle Kingdom, everything in between's been amazing. When it comes
to Tokyo, his Tokyo Dome resume itself is fucking crazy, and all he got rewarded with now was getting pinned by a dude without abs. So like, and David Finlay. So like, a dude that rejects,
ain't got abs either.
Look, a dude that completely rejects the notion of being a Bullet Club leader with abs. All the rest of them cut, shredded. Him, no.
Oh my god.
But
I wasn't gonna let you get that off. I was like, look, man, that's too mean. That's too mean.
I mean, wait till we get to the main event.
Man.
but yeah, like just how Will Ospreay kind of got done the last 2.5 years, I'll say. And maybe it's the woe is Will Ospreay. He got to be the showcase match wherever he wanted in the world. They let him wrestle whoever. They let him do the Make-A-Wish thing when he's wrestling Mirafu. Yes, I understand all that. Yeah. But why didn't y'all get nothing out of it?
Right.
Like, how did it service New Japan Pro Wrestling to keep him like tucked away? Like him having these matches with he had all these matches with Yota Tsuji, Shota Umino at the end of last year.
The end of last year was at the end of 2 years ago.
End of last year. And it was legitimizing these guys. They don't let any of them beat him.
Right.
Or whatever. And they just kind of let these matches happen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's they're happening at the time of the year where it's all right, we're just waiting for the Dome.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt like it should have been bigger. It should have been, James, do you remember what Will Ospreay did at Dominion? Because I don't.
Should I have to pull it up? Hold on. What did he do at Dominion? I don't remember at all.
I think, didn't he have a short match? No, I'm thinking of a different year. Was he injured?
I don't think so.
He fought Lance Archer. That was this year.
That's
okay.
right. Yeah, I forgot about
that. So that's the match I was thinking. I thought it was a different year.
That was the finals to get to the thing, right? That was the tournament, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm man, he's had a lot of his booking has been. It's almost like they knew he was out, but I feel like the philosophy when someone's out, fucking maximize him until he walks out the door.
Yeah.
And I don't think they did that. And they're letting him wrestle Okada next week at Battle in the Valley and all that. But I'm they're going to have less than 2,000 people there. They're putting it on pay-per-view. And it's it just feels like they took a odd, and I don't know whether they're clear. This stuff has to go through Tony Khan, with this. And, I don't think most of this stuff would have had to go through Tony Khan, dating back to last year. So I don't know what, the situation is now, but
it's been weird. They have not, they spent all this time with Jay and with Ospreay, and they didn't maximize either one of them on the way out. And it was apparent, during the pandemic back in 2020, that both of them weren't going to leave. It was apparent, and they didn't maximize either one of them. If you want to say, well, they put Jay in the Dome or whatever, I was no, that man left and then didn't do a G1, then came back to do the G1, and then got the belt. Or got the belt, then did the G1, and then dropped it right back to the person that had it. Okay, whatever. That's a 1-1. They did not handle this well at all. And now their answers is oh, I guess now we'll go to Zack Sabre Jr. It's well, you could have did that 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Because the answer
good luck with David. I was good luck with David Finlay. We're gonna find out.
Is the real answer like you got to bring in more Mox? You got to get more Mox dates. Is that the real answer?
No, he's not the answer because he's never gonna be yours, and he's like not young.
I know that, but do they know that?
No, like they don't have him under contract. Those guys aren't under contracts, so like they need to find somebody that's like you would think maybe ELP or whatever.
Rich,
like you would think
they're not under contracts, but those are people that absolutely will and can be, and we just saw can be the quote unquote international main event for the Dome. Dan Finley's never going to be that. He's never going to be that.
But I think those are different roles, though. Like what Will Ospreay was for New Japan, and like what Moxley or Danielson would be, or now what Kenny was last year. Like that's like that's your import guy. Like they need someone based there, and it seems like Saber's going to be in that role, right? Or splitting it with Finley. Yeah, Finley's not the guy. They had Jay and Will.
Figure that out soon.
They had Jay and Will in these spots as those two. They never made a feud with them. They never they only fought each other that one time. And it was like 2019 when Jay had just won the belt and Oscar was still a junior. It was like there's just missed opportunities, but everything doesn't always happen. So
yeah. All right, well, special singles match. Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. And Rich, like I saw this match and I was completely enthralled by it. And I loved basically every choice they made in the match. And I gave this thing 4 and 3/4. And I thought for a second, maybe 5. I love the story. I love the intensity. I love how nasty they both got. And it made me realize like this is why I like their style, both their styles of wrestling. Like it's just something about them and the way they build matches, and the way they build anticipation, and the way they subvert expectations, the way they come up with thoughtful things that in a way is like anybody could do this. But they think at a higher level, or they put more thought into this than other people do. That's why the shit works so well. Like, the part where he, throughout the whole entire match, and it's not even something big. It's like, throughout the whole entire match, like, Danielson just fucking up Okada's arm. Because this whole story is like, I broke my arm facing you, and like, I was embarrassed that I broke my arm, so I'm going to break your fucking arm in this match. And you won't be able to do the Rainmaker. And there's a point in the match where, like, Danielson throws the kicks, and he sets up for the big buzzsaw kick. He sets up for the buzzsaw kick, and Okada goes to block it, and he blocks with his bad arm, and then, like, he's so hurt by the fucking arm that he just left open, and then Danielson just fucking blasts his head off again with another kick, because he's so much pain he didn't even realize that, like, he has to block, that he's in danger still. It was like, I love this match, and, like, the thought of, like, obviously you know what it is. Like he hits him with the Rainmakers, and he has to overcome the part where his arm is just fucked, and he has to like fight through the pain of after hitting these Rainmakers. He has to make a quick cover to try to put this guy away. And then the part where like Okada is like gotten his ass beat so badly, and he's so damaged or whatever. So he's like, all right, you've been getting nasty with these arm kicks and wearing my arm out and lighting me up, whatever else. Take off this fucking eye patch. And he starts booting him in the fucking eye, and I was like, they just getting nasty out there. I just love the match. I just love the match, and it's like this kicked the ass of that match that happened in Wrestle Dream or whatever. It's kicked the ass of it, or Forbidden Door, whichever one it was. And it was like I enjoyed the hell out of this thing, and I think it's the best match I've seen so far this year. It's early. It's not going to end up being number 1. Obviously, something's going to surpass. There's going to be some crazy shit that happens with Ospreay or whatever else. Ospreay only had like 5 matches better than this. But this is my favorite match of the year so far. I loved it.
I liked it a lot. However, actually, let me build it up a little bit before I knock it down. I thought the best thing kind of about this was just seeing these guys in this environment together on the other side, opposite sides of the ring, before they even make contact with each other. Danielson's entrance. I love his gear. I love the fact that you got the pyro bro and all that for the first time ever in his career. The slow motion video that's come out around it, I think is just one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. Okada with the fucking laser jacket and shit.
Yes.
Like,
Man,
bro, I don't know if
flopping colors
bro,
like Young Dro switches Chevy paint. Yes,
bro. Like, I think it was like a thing. If you got what the fuck he was trying, you thought it was cool. But if you didn't get it, you were like, huh? But if you did get it, you were like, yo, that shit is crazy. Like, but yeah, like I thought they told a really, as you mentioned, like a really like simple story of that. But I feel like this thing would have worked better with Danielson like in the straight babyface role rather than beating up the bigger, larger Okada. More like Okada in control, more like, you know, him fucking Danielson up, Danielson fighting from underneath.
I get you.
And
there's definitely a story in that. I just think that I don't go with your point. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's just like it didn't like when I see Bryan Danielson, Kazuchika Okada, I'm thinking flat out one of the greatest matches of all time, and I don't think they had that. And it was just like it was like a great match on like a given year. I feel like, and it was just like I didn't like viscerally get into the match like that. It was just like, all right, there's a lot of like, there was some exhibitionism, I think, like with some of the stuff, and you know, just very simple things. Like, but this wasn't like the mind-blowing match that I would have looked for. I didn't feel like Danielson really challenged Okada to rise to that level. They did something different, like as far as like,
you mean
Okada
from a technique standpoint, or you mean like from a will standpoint?
Like from a will standpoint, like a will to win standpoint, like from like I'm challenging your wrestling acumen, your ability, like I'm challenging you just to be better than you or whatever. Like this was like something else.
So for me, the story was like they tried to wrestle on the mat, and Danielson quickly took advantage. He's a better technical wrestler, and then he proceeded to, once he got the advantage in the match, was to beat his ass and break his arm. And then Okada was like, fuck, he's breaking my arm. I gotta come up with ways to get out of this, otherwise he's gonna break my fucking arm. That's what I thought the match, like, it was choosing tactics, right? Like, you know, Danielson, when he wrestled other guys that are like high technique guys, like, you know, Drew Gulak or someone like Hell Saber last year, he will lose the points of the mat and chain wrestling to put over that dude's a bad motherfucker. And then also his change in tactics is, but he can't kick like me, so I'll just kick the shit out of him. Like, so for me, like, I thought that was a cool part of the tactics thing, was like, they're starting this match, Danielson is just having his way with him technically, and then from there now he's proved his point, he's now trying to punish him because he's embarrassed about the arm breaking thing. And like, I thought, you know, personally, like the story, they lucked into the story completely, like of the arm, like where they end up getting into it, where they're, you know, they're in knuckle locks and they start throwing forearms or whatever else, and it's like Okada's bad forearm going up against like Danielson's bad eye with the eye patch. I was like, they lucked into that, and by luck I mean a motherfucker broke his collarbone.
Look, I was gonna say, I almost wonder what the alternate timeline is if they both come in healthy or sans injury, and it's like, what would the ceiling have been then? Almost. And I thought Okada was very emotive in this match. I thought his selling was awesome.
I thought his selling was phenomenal in this match. Like he was in agony. Like, this is probably the best selling I've seen from someone in New Japan this year. No, like, I didn't see the G1 this year, so y'all did say like, what about these 5 matches? Like, I never see the G1 this year. But like the way that Hiromu was selling his leg against Eagles last year in their title match early in the year, I was like, this is like the best selling of a limb damage I've seen in New Japan that I've seen so far, and like since then, I just loved it. Like, I thought that like Danielson had that man on the brink of tapping out in the dome to this white man, and he just like at the end he's like, I ain't gonna do it. I'm not letting down Nihon, not doing it. And then that man had to you know, reach into his inner Inoki and fight back, and then he beat that man's ass. I really enjoyed the match. I loved the match. Like, I thought it was a perfectly executed story for what they were going for.
This ended kind of with a rainmaker and kind of like a quick ending. There wasn't like really like a huge like back and forth finishing sequence or anything like that. And I was like kind of waiting for it, but they didn't do that. So
Danielson doesn't really do that these days.
Yeah.
You look at his, you go through his his C2 run, there's not too many of these like bag and floor flurries of a crazy closing stretch. It's more like somebody has their flame extinguished and they're done and it's over.
Yeah, Dave went 5 1/4 on this. I thought he was out of his mind for that, but
also that's like what, the third time he's ever gone 5 1/4 any match ever.
Yeah,
it's always like that magical go over 5 thing is like it's always 5 or 5.5 or higher. It's never like those 5 1/4s. There's like 3 of them ever. It's amazing how that's worked over these 30 years.
Actually, I think there's more than you think by this point.
All
but
right,
for a while
I'm about to go to
stood up
right now. And we're finna see. But
I'm pretty sure FTR got one last year with Jay White and Juice Robinson.
Okay.
I think these guys I don't know if the chemistry was. I feel like they each have better opponents.
Yeah, of course.
And it was just like maybe this came like, I don't know if it came too late necessarily, because it wasn't like they're not like, I wasn't expecting to be athletically wowed in this match or whatever. Right. And I don't know, maybe I was looking for something different, but I think, for like you mentioned, what they were going for, it was awesome. Like it was like just I think this is a wrestling school match. Like you show this like to be like, hey, you can do this. All you have to do is learn to think and structure the way they do or whatever. But like, this isn't like, I don't think you show them and be like, yo, you'll never be that. Like this is not one of those. Like,
right. It's not Ospreay. It's not Ospreay Omega. It's not like Hiromu and Ospreay. It's not like Shingo and Ospreay. I keep saying Ospreay a lot, right? Like, it's not like, Kenny Omega and Naito, right? Where it's like, what? Like, you're doing such dangerous shit. Like, it would be irresponsible for you to like show someone this and be like, yeah, do you just copy these moves? Like, nah, man, then you're gonna end up in the fucking ER or you're gonna end up fucking dead.
You
right?
will die.
Just go ahead and copy that Masao Kabashi match where Masao gives that man a tiger suplex off the horizontal ramp and Kabashi lands right on the back of his fucking head. Like, no, you'll die. You'll die.
Oh man. But yeah, main event. Tetsuya Naito versus Sonata for the IWGP World Heavyweight title.
Rich, so there's been a lot of talk, or not a lot of talk. It pops up every blue moon, every 2 months about someone's look and whether or not they like a star, they like an athlete, like a wrestler, whatever the fuck, and for this fake fighting that we watch. And then someone else gives that number of, the counterfactual, all these people that were successful, people that this person actually does like, and there's the answer is, well, I actually like those, but I don't like this one, so I use this as an excuse. It's like, all right, man. There's somebody I'm going to show pro wrestling to pretty soon. And, like, they have no reference for any of this shit, especially Japanese wrestling. And I'm going to just show them, like, these two walking down the aisle, and like, which one do you think is the star or whatever else? And I'm pretty much willing to bet Diamond's the dog shit that it'd be like, oh, the Sonata guy. He like classically handsome guy, chiseled, great jacket, the colors and all that stuff. Other guy,
make sure you turn the volume off while you do that too.
Other guy, nice suit or whatever else, but like not,
wild hair.
Yeah, bad hair, whatever. But it's like, this just goes to show you that, like, when people talk about that, like, looks the part thing, that's a great way to get through the door. But
you got to show them the interest is on mute. Make sure you show them on mute.
Yeah. I mean, it's in Japanese. They don't even know what they're saying, right? Whatever. But
we don't need the crowd noise, nothing. Like, because if you hear that reaction, you're like, oh, that guy.
Fair enough. I'll do that. But it's like, look, if, like I said, like the look stuff or whatever else, like that's a good way to get through the door. That don't get you into people's hearts. Naito has gotten into people's hearts, and he has continuously has done that for years. Like ever since the LIJ thing popped off, and he came in as heels or they did the heel stuff, whatever else, and he was anti-authority, whatever else. And the part where Gato has waited and waited and waited, and you can argue he kind of passed. Argue like if not for the stupid pandemic, you could argue he passed the peak. The pandemic saved his ass for saying he passed the peak. Like we're here now, and this match for a match that has Sonata, someone that I think is technically a great wrestler. Someone that I just think he just is missing this over the top charisma, and if it was there, he could be at the level of a top guy in New Japan, but he's not. So he's been where he's been. I'm watching this match, and maybe I'm not giving it its fair due because I got a phone call while watching. I'm not good at and I'm not a good multitasker, so I'm not good at being able to pay attention halfway at stuff. But I'm watching the match, and in the last half of the match, they're fucking up 1 out of every 6 things they try. And then at the end, Sonata goes for his finish after he already hit it one time. Naito slips. He hits Sonata's finish on him. Then he gets Sonata up, hits a sheer drop brainbuster, and then he hits probably the 4th Destino in the match. And gets to win throughout the whole entire match. Naito just went to work on that neck like usual, right? And I mean, he even hit the inverted Destino too in the match, right? And I was like, well, Naito just better than him. He just better than him. He beat him, and that's the end of it.
Go to hell.
It wasn't all that dramatic to me. Sonata got a run of 3 moves, and then he went up for the moonsault, but Naito got the knees up. But it's it was very, in a way, it wasn't as, I don't think it was as good, because I don't think it was as smooth as the Hiromu and Desperado match. It was very similar. It was the champion came in, the champion was not good enough, the champion got their ass whooped by the better challenger that night. And because the challenger had better tactics. And just,
they fucked up
and
a
set
lot
to the game
of
plan
stuff.
and won. And I was like, hey man, whatever, great match. Is it an all-time classic? Fuck no. Great match. And Naito gets to do the roll call. And then,
well, hold on.
All right, go ahead.
Hold on. Before you do that, they fucked up a lot of shit. Understatement. Yeah. And it was just I was watching this.
Another was some botchamania. It'll end up on it'll end up on Twitter to be laughed at or whatever else, how it happens on AEW or WWE all the time. But it was these two have been too good for too long to be and have too much chemistry, have wrestled too many times with and against each other to be fucking up stuff like this in the biggest match of one of their careers. It didn't make any sense. Yeah.
And Sonata came out there dressed in his Keiji Muto tribute gear, but I think I've seen enough of the Muto deference now, and I'm good off all that. But yeah, man, I don't ask much. If I know it's almost irresponsible to ask for and demand all-time classics, right? Upon request. Mm-hmm. But if I can't ask for that in the main event of the Tokyo Dome, when can I ask for it?
Was this better than last year's Okada and Jay White match?
I don't know.
I don't think it was.
Obviously, I don't know.
I
probably the same level.
It's a better fan reaction or whatever else, of course. Because it's Jay White in there and not Sonata. But I don't recall Jay White and Okada fucking stuff up to that degree. And that match was short. And that match was longer too. So whatever.
Yeah, I think I want a little bit more than 4 1/4 in the main event of the Dome. I'm just saying, and I went ahead and gave him the 4 1/4, and was
it was nice of you because I'm not sure if I want to give him that quarter.
I'm not sure I want to give him
that quarter. I gotta rewatch it. But I was
2024. I was I'm gonna be nice. Actually, let me double check the notebook. Let me make sure. I went 4 1/4. It actually is 8.41 on Cage Match.
Oh, so that shit definitely wasn't a 4-star match, or definitely wasn't a 4 1/4. Because the Naito wins.
Look, sometimes they be acting like it's 9.7 and shit like that. I'm like, all right, man, what are we doing here? But I think this just proves that we were right about Sonata. He ain't got it. And apparently they're going to keep this thing going. I don't know why, for who, for what.
It sucks that he ain't got it because I really enjoy what he can do.
Hey,
but
he's
just not consistent enough. He's just not. Like, he's consistently inconsistent.
You can enjoy him for the global, for the never, for the tag. Just at the IWGP,
No, I agree.
It ain't there.
I agree. I was like, remember I said when we did the preview when most of the card got announced, I was like, hey man, you gotta have the best match of your career, or you can't be at this level ever again. And this isn't even one of his best matches, even by his standards. Nah, can't be here ever again. Can't be on this level ever again. Yeah,
they didn't care about him. It was a 90-10 split, to be generous. Naito,
do you remember the beginning of the match? The beginning of the match, bro, when they start, bell rings, Naito, and bro, Sonata, meaning him, and Red Shoes are looking at each other, and like, Sonata's on this side of him, of Red Shoes. Naito's on this side. He looks over at Sonata and goes, I was like, oh my God!
Decides that, man.
So disrespectful. Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah.
They was there to see the roll call, man.
They were there for one thing, and that's a testament to how much people love that man. Like, I don't love him like that, but he's in the hearts of men, as they say. But yeah, we got to the post match, and James, I was confused. I was like, does this count as a roll call? Like,
you talking about after Sonata made the save?
No, just on like what happened. So like, like obviously they do the Evil runs in after the match, jumps him. I fucking start dying laughing. I'm like, and then I'm like crying on the inside. I'm like, no, are they gonna? This is their excuse. Are they gonna like try to roll this shit over again? No,
for another 2, 3, 4 years. Yeah.
And then Sonata saves him, and I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, all right, when's he gonna call the rest of the guys out? And he never does. But I'm like, all right. So he just calls
the roll call was just to shout out their names. I was like, this is not walking them down one by one, them all like taking a bow together, like, no, just calling their names. What kind of sucker shit is this? Like, like, I think it's good enough for them. Hey, if it's good enough for them, right, that's fine. But I thought the roll call was something else. I thought it was fitting because LIJ don't ever save each other. So why would they come out now?
But I'm saying, like, call them out, they didn't lose no debilitating matches. Like they didn't get carted off like Kota Ibushi or some shit. Like, nah, man. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
Hold on, like, I see Zach saying they lost. Like, who is they? Like, Bushi didn't lose. Bushi wasn't even on the card. Bushi fresh as hell. They didn't lose, but like, you can still walk out injured. We've seen people walk out injured all the goddamn time. I'm
gonna say they could have walked to the top of the dome, threw the fucking fist up, and then like let him like something. Like, I was like,
I didn't think of it, but like for me, the internal logic is they never come out and save each other when they're getting beat down by house of torture. So why would they come out now to celebrate? What's more important? Get these evil motherfuckers off of beating my ass, or come out there and put a fist in the air. Here's the real thing. Why was the roll call such a big deal when clearly they ain't that close to friends to even want to save each other from getting beat down or from wanting to celebrate?
If it's good enough for them, it works. If they like it, I love it, right? I just misunderstood the premise of the thing because I was like,
Black Saber Jr. asked a good question. LIJ ain't help. Maybe Naito the problem. But here's the thing though, they don't be saving Hiromu or Shingo either. They just be getting their asses whooped.
Like, y'all better fight. What is even the benefit of being at LIJ? Like, we ain't got your back. You go out there.
We got your back in a tag when Bushi finna take the pin in an 8-man.
Like, that shit. Look, if we ain't booked together, sorry, brother.
Yeah.
One thing we did miss, Nick Nemeth came out during Wrestle Kingdom, the former Dolph Ziggler. And I like how they did this. Like, they brought him out there with his brother before the tag match, right? So you're thinking, okay, maybe they're a team, whatever. But they just kind of let him sit there and you kind of forget about him or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's still sitting there. Like, you'll see with the camera cut, they fucking have the fucking junior match after. Like, I think it was masterful how they did this. And then David Finlay wins, and they get the angle going with him and Dolph.
Crowd didn't know who he was.
I think they know who he was.
No, they did.
Oh, they did. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it was like, I thought they did a good brawl at the end, and it ain't like Ziggler can't fight or whatever. Right. So
I saw a clip of like when they went to the back and fought like in front of the presser, and I saw a couple seconds of it. It looked good, but I didn't watch much of it. But like it was a good angle. It was a good angle. It wasn't Kiyomiya and Okada from last year, but it was a good angle.
Ziggler, Nemeth, whatever you call him, 43 years old.
Yep.
Doesn't look like it. Still in phenomenal shape.
Right.
Probably fresh to an extent, because it ain't like he's been, asked to do much of late. I think this could be an exciting environment for him.
I think so too, and I'm glad that he's doing this, because like I imagine he's going to be on Strong now, and like this is a better place for him. Like, Impact seems too low. AEW doesn't need him. This is a nice spot for him to be like, do you really want to do pro wrestling, or do you just want to be in WWE for forever and keep cashing checks like you seem to have been doing since like 2019, 2018, something like that, right? This is a nice test for him. So
he's working the New Beginning tour, so
yeah. So it's a nice test for him. Whatever else, there's people that he knows. I'm sure he's met TJP. I'm sure obviously Rocky and all that kind of stuff. Like, so yeah, I'm positive on this, right? Because like obviously he's always been a very good wrestler. So like put him in there with Finlay. Let's see what Finlay if he can give Finlay anything. Let's see.
Y'all tweets that from years ago when y'all was just saying Dolph Ziggler would be Kenny Omega if he was in New Japan. All right, we gonna see it.
I never heard of that.
Oh, or Kenny Omega is just Dolph Ziggler. Oh yeah, I remember them all. I remember them all. We gonna see. Look, I'm not rooting against Nick Nemeth or anything, but I'm rooting against y'all. Like,
all right, so back to my shit, right? So, Nick and Ryan Nemeth both showed up. Yeah. What is their tag team name? Do they have a tag team name yet?
The brothers Nemeth.
Okay. I demand that their tag team name is Nemesis. I demand it.
Yes.
You're not going to come up with anything better than Nemesis.
That's it.
The Nemeths? Fuck that. You're Nemesis.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's Wrestle Kingdom. I thought it was, I really enjoyed the show, man. I really enjoyed the show. It took me multiple days to watch it, but I really enjoyed the show. And I'm looking forward to what they got to do with these young guys that they, had Sonata beat in the G1 block last year, in the A block. They gotta one of them four gotta spring up this year. One of them gotta win a New Japan Cup. One of them got to make a G1 final, some shit like that. They got to make sure that the three of those four do not fall through the cracks.
James, check your Twitter DMs.
Oh God.
This is not something that I invented just now. This is years. This is years in the making.
2019. Yeah, that's
2020. Look, we gonna see it.
You really mad at them 5 people, huh?
I saw it. I saw it.
See, the algorithm, man, it gets you. It thrives off negativity.
I saw it.
You feeding the monster. I
saw him being negative, and I wrote it down, and so did Kenny apparently, because we've seen the last 5 years. So I hope Nick never has a chance to prove all these people right. Oh man, what time we got, James? Because we got lots of questions, and
it's 11:14. We're an hour and 20 minutes in.
Okay,
hour 20.
Can we blaze 21 through AEW Dynamite, because there was some stuff that happened.
I thought it was a good show. I mean, it feels like it happened 2 weeks ago when I saw it, but it was a good show.
Yeah, we're all the way up against the clock. I think Konosuke Takeshita and Darby Allin, that's my favorite match of this year.
It's my
so
second
far.
favorite match of the year,
bro.
It's
That
okay.
shit.
Objectively speaking, it's probably the best match I've seen so far this year. Objectively speaking, like I would say the two best matches I've seen this year will be that match and also Shuri versus Mayu from 1-4. But after that, but yeah, man, they're two totally different matches, but they're both like the violence is just like on a different level than the other matches I've seen so far this year. It's like they're out here beating each other the hell up. And like the stuff that Darby and Takeshita were doing was like, I never thought of that. Why would you even think of that? You guys are sickos.
That shit was like just rolling up and down the fucking ramp, German suplexing each other. Some of the suplex, he just hit him with some of the nastiest suplexes I've ever seen in my life. And I was like,
Rich, we got that on TV.
I know what I saw in that fucking 8-man.
No,
and then it was
we
like,
got it on TV. Why?
I know.
We are so, like, Meltzer says this every blue moon. I don't listen to Meltzer as much as I have like compared to last year's, compared to other years, but like, bro, he's right in this particular instance. I don't recall a time seeing a match like that was that outrageous where like it wasn't, that was in America where like it wasn't behind some sort of paywall or on some special episode of television or on some special like Clash of Champions shit. Like the only thing I can think of really is like stuff like, the Shawn and Cena match or whatever else, right? And I won't even watch it at that point in time when this shit like that happened, right? But it's like, I can't believe we got a match like that like, if it happened on a WWE pay-per-view, we'd be talking about that shit for like 2 years. And that shit just happened like because it got previewed in a Road to All-Star, not a Road to, but like an All-Star Grand Prix, not even Grand Prix, like an All-Star pay-per-view tag match. They're like, hey, they're really good together, so let's do this match for singles. And then like, sure enough, after I said it, like who was it? Sammy and Ricky were really good together at the end of that match. Like, they're going to have a match tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Like, it's almost as if, like, the booker said, we're going to do this just to preview this stuff. It's almost like that is storytelling, but people don't accept that here because, like, that's what they do over in Japan. And then, like, people like QT Marshall,
yes,
they just like, hey, man, this is to paraphrase Katy Perry, like, hey, man, I don't like when my wrestling is all, quote, all Japanesey. So like, I don't know, man. Like, this was fine. I like how they set this up, and like it gave you something, a taste, and now they're doing these matches awesome. And I hope that like Sammy and Ricky kill it tomorrow. I really do.
We need somebody to get hit by a car first. We need somebody to say the Chinese food is too spicy. We need somebody to spill coffee on somebody. They perhaps can feud over shampoo. Maybe they can just go to good old fashioned racism. Now with NJF and we were just talking about Takeshita, I don't know if you're talking about AEW or WWE. I don't. The mark of a good sign, the mark of a good joke. Yeah. But this Darby and Takeshita shit out of this world.
It was incredible, and like I don't know how. Hey man. I know he said he's straight edge. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Ain't no way. Bro, he is taking some of the nastiest bumps I've ever seen.
That man's like, that nigga's called the Undertaker the Phenom. No, that nigga Darby Allin is the Phenom. Like,
look, I know that given that he's like $140, I know that given that he's that small, like the impact isn't nearly as bad, but like, bro, he's taking some of these bumps where it's like, only like him and Kota Ibushi, the only men that I expect to get up for some of this stuff. That's it. And Kota Ibushi ain't getting up from this shit like that no more, is he?
We gonna talk about Kota Ibushi later. I think we're gonna have to eulogize Kota Ibushi, James. It's over. Like. And not even like
you watched that match.
I watched the match.
Now, Rich, you know me. Like when the people that I hold at high esteem, I don't watch them when they clearly out here on their Willie Mays like as a Met era. Like after Kobe tore his Achilles, I watched I think 2 games. One of them games was his last game when he scored 60. Right, like and it was grooving him to Kobe. So like I ain't trying to watch. people that I really enjoy watching just be shells of themselves. I don't really do that. That's not fun. Like when I heard that Kota Ibushi match was awful, and I saw clips of it, I was like, why would I watch this? And you watched it.
I watched it. I'll talk. Somebody asked a question about it, so I'm gonna save it for then. But
okay,
it's a lot, man.
All right, moving on with Dynamite.
Mariah May debut with against Queen Emanata. Mariah May is going to take over American women's wrestling.
I don't know about take over, be the best, but she's gonna be at the top. She's gonna be one of the top wrestlers. Yeah, if this is what they let her do, if they figure out a good resolution to her in Tony, yeah, she will be at the top of that division and therefore at the top of women's AmRest in that way. Yeah, at the top. She might not be the best in any given year, but she will be someone that's be in the running to be in top 10s of PWIs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
And I say that simply because she got over more. She got over more in one match, I think, than Sky Blues got over in 70.
Play the video, Rich.
The fact that she's willing to hit somebody and the contact, and then she already has them going crazy for her already, James, right? Just off the look and the promos and being on Twitter. She's got a bubbly Twitter personality and stuff like that. But now that people see that it's actually real between the ropes, they don't have to lie, how they be making some of the stuff look funny with some of the other people that people try to lift up,
the
and
Sky
say
Blues and the Julia Harts and the Abadons and the Alexa Blisses, and yeah,
it's gonna make all that shit look like cap, and we don't, this ain't the same, and so we watched her in Stardom plenty.
Yeah,
imagine if they dropped her versus. Imagine if they brought in Niagara Driver, cover your ears. Imagine if they brought in Ano and so hey, do what y'all did in the fucking Grand Prix.
Oh yeah,
here people would be like, what did I just watch? They would look at them like aliens were in the ring, James.
Right, and that's the point we be getting at when we watch this stuff. Is you see the reaction she got. That's not some one of her best matches. Her just wrestling out there, wrestling hard. That's a regular past the third or into the third and above match on a go to show or road to show in Stardom. That's what it is. That match, that kind of action, that's what you see. That's why we watch it. That's why we tell you, hey man, this is levels to this thing. So yeah, man, it was really fun. And also Queen
Emanata, we should
Queen Emanata, don't know what her situation is, but I saw she was Ring of Honor this week or on the taping, whatever else. She's another person that wrestled Unagi a bunch of times on the indies, whatever else. Also went over to I think it's Tokyo Pro or Marvelous. It's actually Marvelous. And she's someone that should be signed.
I want somebody signed. I want people in the women's division to hit.
Right.
This soft shit.
If your whole thing is you want attractive women or whatever else, cool. Those two handle both of those. They beat the shit out of each other. They're throwing each other around, and they're both attractive as hell.
Look, pick a side.
You can do both. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Literally, pick a side. Pick which one.
It's so weird when it comes to the women's wrestling thing, where it's the idea that one, they have to be super attractive to even deserve to be on television in these people's eyes, right? And it's okay, that sucks. That's how you feel. And there are plenty of attractive women that are good at pro wrestling. So what are we doing here? What's not computing? I don't get it. Whatever.
What else do we have? We had
before we move on. What you talked about?
You have something for me to play.
We were just praising Queen Emanata and Mariah May, and then you talked about it she got more over in one match than all of them fucking Sky Blue matches, and sure enough, there was no women's match announced for Collision. So what does that mean? And that means Sky Blue is going to be on Collision. Sure enough, she was. So Rich, play that video I sent you, please.
All right.
You've already seen this video.
That's great. That is great.
Bro, I am sick to. She's on Dynamite tomorrow, right?
She's in that 8-woman tag. Yep, and she got the front place on the graphic too.
She's a tag wrestler at this point, so that's fine, right? Like we figured that out with her and Julia Hart. They're both tag wrestlers at this stage in the game, so I don't have a problem with her being in the tag match. When you keep putting her in fucking singles match, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to start using this online. You put her in a singles match, or a 3-way match, or whatever else. I'm putting her on this. I'm putting that on. Enough. Cut the shit.
Like, what are we doing? Someone needs to explain this to me. Like, I've talked about what I think is going on.
Yeah.
But I need the official word on this.
Like, if that's
I think I'm going to try to get it.
If that's what you're doing, fine. Find better people to do that with.
Yeah. So there was a main event. Swerve Strickland and Daniel Garcia.
Is that what they think it is? They think that she's female Daniel Garcia. Like, we keep putting her in this spot over and over and over, people will eventually gravitate to him but it's like, you've got a part where like, Daniel Garcia is really fucking good. Like, the bell rings and he's really fucking good consistently.
Well,
what?
Unfortunately, I don't think women's wrestling is evaluated the same way, and it's unfortunate.
Maybe it should. Which has been our point all along.
Yeah, so Swerve and Garcia had main event. This whole thing ended up with Swerve, getting the win. There was a cool part in the match with Garcia and Prince Nana finally facing off after literally dancing around each other for months in the zeitgeist of the promotion. And I thought that shit was really fun. And when I want to laugh in pro wrestling, I want to laugh like that.
This shit made my day. This shit was so stupid, but it was so great. It's like, this is why I always talk about, like, pro wrestling is so fucking stupid, but it's also awesome when it's so fucking stupid, because it's shit like that. It's like, they're in the middle of a fucking they're in the middle of a match in the main event, and all of a sudden, one person that has a dance, the other one has a dance, so they meet together, and the second the camera caught both of them in frame, the whole crowd perked up as if it was like a rumble, and it's like the Big Show and Kane or Big Show Undertaker immediately like,
yes.
Oh, it's two giants. It's like, oh, they both dance. We're fucking stupid fans, and we're like loving this, and I'm like, I love this too. Wrestling is so simple. Why do people have to try to convolute it with all this other shit? Just get out the way. Yeah, it's awesome, man. It was awesome. It was so stupid and so fun. Yeah.
Swerve got to win with a house call JML combo.
Yep.
And this kind of was like the backdrop for what happened after the match, where we got Hangman Page coming back, pissed off. And he actually did an interview before. He ran into Daddy Magic in the hallway. Increased facial hair. Hangman Page ran into.
You mean Madam TA?
Oh, you stupid.
Bro, look. That man showed up with that beard, and I was like, all the stuff about, like, if he wants to get a run to get the belt back this year, that beard is a good touch. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that.
It feels like he's a little, he had kind of like it's a whole different kind of vibe about him. And shout out to Trish and Sarah, like, this one worked on the women's. Like, I think the women's is signed up for the beard.
I did not know that, but I assumed. And that's why I said what I said. Like,
right?
Yeah. It is, like, if he wants to roll with that belt again, that beard's a nice touch.
Yep. And he comes out, charging out for Swerve, and, like, right back to it, essentially. And then, they, had slugfest they all kind of got broke up. Bunch of security geeks everywhere. Swerve holding up the two. I done whooped you twice. I'll do it again. The show opened essentially with Samoa Joe. And then these guys have all kind of been in the orbit. Right now, it looks like.
Because they're both accused of being the devil at certain points, too.
Yeah. It looks like I have nothing. I don't know. Anything.
And they both went face to face with MJF, doing the whole thing of the devil thing. Yeah.
feels like there's a 3-way match coming.
Yeah, I can see that.
With Hangman, Swerve, and Joe, maybe, or a singles, between either combo. But I saw some people wondering, quote unquote, why they were going back to this so early. I'm like, I don't think they killed the feud dead. They only wrestled each other twice. Of course, one of them was obviously one of the most violent, incredible matches you've ever seen. But I don't think that's a pass to keep them away from each other forever. Not when like the Judgment Day wrestles Cody 9 weeks in a row, 12 weeks in a row, and no one says shit.
I wasn't even comparing the promotions and their ideas of having this. My whole thought was like, they had the match, and after the match,
the separation was the C2.
Right. And also, Hangman said, I'm not done with you. You want the title, and I'm going to make sure you... He didn't say, like, he said, I know what you want. I'm going to make sure my last dying breath, you never get it. He was talking about the title. What has Swerve been talking about going after the last 2 weeks on TV? The title. So why would they not end up around each other after Paige just foreshadowed a couple weeks ago that he's going to make sure he doesn't get to it? That's how they got brought together. Like, I remember like Hangman said something along the lines of like, I'll never get what you did, but I've lost this part of the battle. Which means we're not done. And now that you're going after what you want, I'm going to make sure you don't get it. Hangman Page is a hater, and I absolutely love it. I fucking love it. It's like, I'm going to make sure you don't get this shit. I fucking hate you. That's real wrestling. Real, Like, That's what it takes. Like, the bitter pettiness. Yes. Vengeful, spiteful. Yes. This is what we want. Let them wrestle 5 times. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Hopefully we're talking about, match 7 between these two and,
Oh, I mean, I don't know if we'll get to it, but like maybe next week we'll talk about match 7. It's probably going to need to happen in the next couple months.
Yeah. But Adam Cole explained the whole devil thing and basically unveiled the group. And man, this felt like, I was like, all right, they showed Samoa Joe in the beginning, and then they brought these dudes out here, and I was like, I don't find an explanation necessary, Adam. Y'all can just hang out and wear all black together. Fine by me. Do whatever you want. I don't even need to know why you did it. I'm happy you did it. I don't care. You say you gave Wardlow new life. You had Roddy not looking in the wheelchair no more. MJF, the belt's off him. Y'all good in my book. I have no problem with you gentlemen. So don't even worry. You can skip the explanations. You can skip the long diatribe to trying to make it all tight. I don't need any of it. Personally, y'all can just, go be devilish,
Ultimately, he tried, but you can't make these dots connect because like we know the history. We talked about this before, but like we're past the point of Adam Cole Adam Cole. Not only does it make not sense for Adam Cole to want to work with Samoa Joe based off of them playing on the NXT lore of Joe choking him out every other week during the pandemic. You have the Wardlow not wanting to work with Joe because they were tag teams. They were a tag team, and then Joe betrayed him and cut off his hair, and Wardlow's hair was long because it was a tribute to his dead dad, and they never had closure on that. Then you throw in the part where it's like the whole neck strong thing started because Samoa Joe choked out and fucked up Roderick Strong and put him in a wheelchair. There are 3 people in the same faction that should rather not piss on Joe and let him burn than let him be the champion. But they're all a faction and they're all conspired to get the belt onto Joe because they hate MJF so much more, which is bullshit. So like, this is dumb. Whatever. Just go out there and let Roddy be Roddy, let Wardlow be Wardlow, let Adam Cole have a faction. Whatever.
Adam Cole could have just came out there and just said, well, I ain't shit. And I never been shit. So like, that's so here we go.
Y'all ain't never seen it on our movies?
I ain't never gonna be shit. So I like the new music. Obviously, they're getting rid of All About the Boom.
Agreed.
That is a conscious choice and a risk, right? But I do like the new music, and I do think it's going to get over.
Yep, I agree. I agree. So that's the show, right? That's Dynamite, right?
That's pretty much all that
Okay.
I think was really important. They had the Cope segment and Christian and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that segment was hilarious. And like Nick Wayne made that face again, that high ass face.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, Deonna Purrazzo showed up.
Oh yeah, I forgot Deonna Purrazzo showed up. That's nice.
I like her more than you, so whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think she's on some. She's going to start reeling off 4-star matches, but like I like her as a wrestler.
Yeah, she's serious. She'll she has pride in her work. And I'm not saying people don't have pride, but it's nice to. She's like comes with a reputation, like so.
Right. And like she's had some like good programs over the in the Impact division with like Jordan Grace and.
Oh, one more thing this ensures: no Tessa Blanchard.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Wait, Faye Jackson, she saved us that one day. Or not saved us, she gave us a blessing on the internet that day when she told us about that one that no one knew about. And then like that particular promotion was like, oh, this so happens to now be active on our website or our YouTube for you to watch. And then they see them out there chopping the shit out of each other. That was awesome. Yeah. That was awesome.
So we got lots of questions here, and maybe this is a beginning of the year. It's not often we get to set a new tradition after all these years of doing One Nation Radio. Maybe we can, early in the year, we can solicit a whole bunch of questions and stuff like that. But we'll start with our good buddy Black Saber Jr. He has a 2-part question. Said, hi, I hope everyone's doing well. Congrats on 2 shows being added to the network. How good are you guys at basketball? I'm just asking because if the answer is anywhere from average to above, I'm going to need y'all to suit up for the Pistons. We got a game on Wednesday. It's against Wemby, and we need help. Can you guard a French nigga? Please, I'm desperate.
I'm just going to tell you straight like this. Like, unless I spent thousands of dollars or I'm with someone that is very famous and powerful or rich or whatever, I have no business setting foot on the NBA court. Like I'm that person that's like I was a high school varsity level basketball player. The end. I wasn't gonna make it to the league. Wasn't gonna do none of that. No. That's where I was. I was a varsity high school basketball starter level player. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing less. Wasn't gonna make it to Carolina. None of that shit. Wasn't gonna be Parade All-American. None of that shit. So I'm not even gonna get into it. But I have a great respect for the level of talent and grind it takes to get there. Like I got some friends that I actually played with some dudes that like high school ball and middle school ball that made it to the league. Like I understand the grind and like also some of the growth spurts some of these people got to get there. So yeah, like I am not an NBA level player at all. Not even gonna pretend like no.
Yeah, listen to my song Basketball Dreams, Black Saber Jr. I was an average player. Like I played AAU. I didn't play in high school to a couple of reasons. Grades and at different times and stuff like that. But I was okay. I could shoot threes though.
Like I played my freshman year of high school in JV, and then like I moved on to just play football because like I was 6'4" and like I was the kid that like got the growth spurt early, didn't get it late. Like I got to high school, I was 6'1", and then I left high school, I was 6'4". That was it. Like I thought that I was gonna be like all right, I'm 6'1", maybe I get to 6'6", 6'8". Nah, like when I was a junior, I was like, nah. I don't think I'm going to end up being 6'10" like I thought I was going to be. So like, let me go ahead and put on these pads in this helmet. That's kind of how, and that's how I transitioned out of basketball on that.
I got nothing for Wembanyama. I would be pissing down my leg, as they say, if I had to guard Victor Wembanyama. I don't even know what the defensive strategy for me would be for Victor Wembanyama. It was like, all right, be rough with him. Well, he'll just cross you up. He'll just shoot over you. He'll just block your shot. he'll just turn around, jumper you. Like there's no strategy. He'll just throw it off the backboard and run past you and dunk it.
You're also getting the main factor of like the thought process of all this stuff. You're a civilian. Like, what the fuck can I do with him?
Am I allowed to carry a weapon of some sort? Can I carry a nightstick while I guard? Can I carry a broom? Can I carry a gun to guard Victor Wembanyama with?
Ain't gonna be too many more crossovers. Ain't gonna be too many. Put a thing out on that man.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I'm tired of this. God damn it.
That is funny. 10-day Nation Radio.
That's
brother,
great.
Ain't no way I'm getting a 10-day. And then
absolutely not. Bro, I'll tell you this though. They ever let me on the NBA court, it's going up. Like I'm, it's going up. I ain't passing shit. I'm getting one shot at glory, bitch.
God.
It's going up. But his real question, after we give some quality answers there, he said, with 2023 in the books, how would you compare the year's in-ring matches you've seen around the world compared to 2021 and 2019? Which year was better? Lastly, what was your 2023 album of the year?
All right, so hold on. First question first. How do I compare last year's wrestling around the world compared to 19 and 2020?
2021.
Okay, 2019 is the best pro wrestling year I've ever seen.
Agreed.
It was just loaded. Like you had AEW, NXT, both having killer matches based on a week-to-week basis. You had New Japan having its best onslaught of match at the time. You had Ospreay and Shingo Takagi both double dipping in Best Super Juniors and also in the G1. Like it was a phenomenal year. And then also you also had NXT UK popping up or NXT UK takeovers popping up at the time too. So it was
and you had the indie scene still.
Yep. It was
so and all the guys that are in 2019, I think were all better than they were in 2020, probably with the exception of like Ospreay and like Jay White, and I don't know, maybe Jay White was even better in 2019. And then there obviously like Hangman's better, stuff like that. But most of the guys I think were better in 2019. So
I think that Jay White's 2022 G1 is a lot better than his 2020, even though it was a lot of people highly regard as 2020. I think his 22 is much better. But I think that I think 19 is the best year of pro wrestling I've ever seen. And that's even
album of the year.
Where like Stardom, in the ring, bell to bell has gotten better, even including that.
I'm gonna go with I don't know, I think it was a weak year in music, so I'll just go with Doja Cat. I really like her album.
This is gonna be okay. Actual release date or like impact of the release.
Yes, however much you liked it. I don't know
because for me, I think the best album I've heard, or the album that I've listened to and came back to the most, would be the SZA SOS. But that came out at the very end of 2022. Gotcha. So I don't know if that necessarily counts or not. But if not, I don't really have many answer you because I don't really listen to music unless it's like people singing love songs. So sorry.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of independent rappers, people like La Russell and stuff like that. So and he just drops albums every fucking 2 months. So it's kind of a whole different thing for me. And the way I'm listening to music, listen to a lot of Nipsey and Russ and stuff like that. So independent guys is my thing. Everything Pro Wrestling, EPW show said, what is the best landing spot for a Raw television deal? I'll say the best landing spot, exactly where the fuck they are. Yeah. The USA Network, the network that they have fucking 35 years invested in a time slot with. Why mess that up?
Well, because they get more money and then less eyes, and then it turns to a dead property in 5 years. Yeah,
right. I was gonna say, people will argue the money or whatever. That will be the argument, but you will never that stability is untradeable. Monday Night Raw
Monday Night Raw is not a property or nothing is a property like NFL property. They dumped Thursday Night Football off to Prime on Amazon on Thursdays, and they got Al Michaels and Kurt Herstreet doing that. And when that deal is over, they'll pull it out probably and they'll put it somewhere else and it'll do fine again because it's NFL football. It'll do fine because NFL football is the most popular property in American television. Monday Night or pro wrestling is not that. Once you put Dynamite, Raw, SmackDown, whatever, Nitro, whatever the fuck you want to call it, once you put pro wrestling on something behind a paywall and put it there for years and then pull it back out and put it back into the thing, it's not going to be the same property it was in popularity, even relative to the TV houses going down, comparatively speaking. Like, so
look, and we know
they're killing the
WWE.
property. They're killing that property's value. They're taking short game money to then kill themselves 5 years down the line, and that's very short sighted because this is WWE is going to be around 10 years from now. WWE is going to be around 20 years from now. WWE is going to be around 30 years from now. Don't fuck this up.
Yeah, and they've done the short gains for in trading of long before when they made the network happen. Like they basically gave up on the pay-per-view business and stuff like that. But I think the real value of Raw is the legacy of it. Like you can't buy that name value just because they hand out X amount of dollars. Like
people in this country think of think of pro wrestling as WWE. The same way people think of phones as iPhones, right? Or cell phones as iPhones. And the first show they think of is Monday Night Raw. Because it's been there since 1993. Do not fuck around with that. Appreciate that.
Does AEW finally get the deal on Max for streaming? I think a lot of their stuff, when I think about their deals, streaming is not the top thing. It's like the television stuff itself. So I think that'll be baked into whatever the next television deal announcement is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Thoughts on TNA's new title designs? They look nice.
Yeah, I like it. But the ones they had before, they look good too.
Yeah, I don't think belts have ever been a problem for TNA. They've always had pretty cool belts.
The problem is like the perception from past years and, lack of,
everything.
Resources. Yeah.
JML, will we see Sari versus Mayu for the IWGP title in 2024? Absolutely not. Sari will call out with the flu. She will do whatever it takes to avoid Mayu Watani. She might even get signed by WWE. Or actually, no. She's in Sukaban or Skatebon.
Yeah, that's right. Look. If and ever she wants to come, wrestle in the World Wonder Ring, she wants to come do this, ain't no problem. But, your first match is with Mayu Watani, and there's a job to be done. Because that job you ducked in 2020. Nah, come. You've been hiding from it for, at this point, 4 years. Now's the time. Now's the time. Or not even now's the time. Like, whenever, it's time for you to want to do Stardom, whatever else. Gotta do that job. Mayu gonna be there.
Lay down.
Yeah.
Gotta lay down.
Yeah. Like, Mayu might as well cut that CM Punk on MJF promo. You want to go for your 2-for-1, all-star special, whatever else. When you come back, I'll be here for you. Mayu ain't retiring no time soon.
All right, Rambo and Slam Pig. Here we go. Thoughts on Kota Ibushi? Have we seen the end of his in-ring career in any meaningful sense? If so, what is his lasting legacy? What are your favorite matches or moments? Okay, James, it's over for Kota Ibushi. And
did
when
he
I
go
say
into the match with the injuries, or was he already injured in the match?
He went in with injuries and got injured in the match. Either way, it does not matter. I know what I saw a couple months ago, and then here.
What was a couple months ago? Was it the
blood and guts stuff?
Oh, okay.
The blood and guts,
Fair
the
enough.
multi-man tags that he was in AEW. He has no like his depth perception seems like it's gone. Like his ability to anticipate is gone. It seems like I obviously the match, I watched it, him and Marufuji, and thank God for Marufuji for just being in there with him and protecting him as much as he could and kind of carrying the whole thing. But this was awful in every sense of the word. And this was like a 30-minute match. I watched it. I was like, I don't know if it's a sick thing or whatever. I watch, people on their way down or whatever, but I kind of just want to see like what I don't see anymore, kind of. And with Ibushi, the explosion is gone. As I mentioned, the sense of anticipation, the athleticism is zapped. The physicality gone, the striking gone. It's almost like a great boxer that's done. Like Kota Ibushi, I think he's capable of being in a wrestling ring. However, he cannot be counted on in any capacity for singles matches, for anything above mid card. He is a giant Baba style.
He's a comedy wrestler now.
At this point, that's the only useful role I think that would be good for Kota Ibushi going forward. This was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. This looked like Muhammad Ali in there with Larry Holmes, and he wasn't getting like beat like that, but it was just like, this guy's a shadow of himself now, and it's like, this guy is one of the greatest wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. Just like, at one point, to me, the best high flyer in the world. At one different time, always been a great striker, incredible big match wrestler from the first time I ever watched him. First time I ever watched him was him versus Shinsuke Nakamura at Wrestle Kingdom 9. I watched different, past parts of his career, obviously the stuff with Kenny Omega, stuff where he was in Pro Wrestling Noah, and all his runs throughout the junior division, and then obviously getting CWC, coming back to New Japan as a heavyweight, and his run up to the IWGP title. This guy is amazing. Like, for what he did, gave us a lot of great years of pro wrestling excellence. Just the zenith, like as good as someone can be in a wrestling ring, Kota Ibushi was that. And I want people to remember how great that man was, because it's over now. Like, and it's done. Like, and I saw it, and it was just like, I love Kota Ibushi, and it was like, it was sad. It was like, who's letting him go out there? Does he need the money like this? Like he does not need to be in, unless he's going to take major time off, more time than he already had took off. Like, this guy, like, obviously it's like the Monstars took his powers. Like that's what he looks like now, James. And it's really sad, like, right now, but his lasting legacy, I guess you could say, like, you throw him in with the guys that went to New Japan Wrestling from other dojos. He's as good as any of them, and they made it all the way to the top. He's as good as any of them, and he's a Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Famer, and quite frankly, just like one of the just most sensational wrestlers I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think there are two handfuls of wrestlers that I think have been like more complete as talents than in the ring as performers than Kota Ibushi. From just the ability, the agility, the toughness, the willingness to bump like that, the danger factor, the wow factor, the footwork, the pacing. He fucked up his shoulder in the 2022 Grand Prix, or not, 2021, right?
Yeah.
2001 G1 final.
G1 final.
And he's a person that has obviously looked a lot younger than his actual age, always has been. And, I think it's finally all caught up to him all at once. And it stinks. It stinks. And whatever. I got all the matches already, but I hope he can I hope he can find something to do away from pro wrestling the rest of his life. Like, when you're that good at something and you can't do it at the level you want to do it anymore, how do you find fulfillment? Can you find fulfillment? So I'm interested to see, or I'm keeping my eye out for whatever he figures out for himself in the future. And I hope, and I thank him because
yeah,
I don't think I've he changed his podcast, and in a way from saying that he changed my life first time seeing him. So yeah, all-time wrestler for me.
Far as favorite matches, obviously him versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Wrestle Kingdom 9.
Yep.
There's a great match he had in Noah. I forgot, it was like a tag team match. I think Kenta's in it as well. That is excellent. Obviously the Bushi Omega matches.
Is Ishimori in it?
Yes.
Was it during did we watch it during Josh's birthday?
During Josh's birthday, yes.
Yeah.
Obviously the series of Kenny Omega, they never quite got the match they were looking for. The Budokan Hall quote unquote preview match, still out of this world. Him versus Tetsuya Naito, Dominion 2019, still they went fucking crazy, dropping each other on their heads. Still amazing. Him versus Jay White in the Dome. This guy unlocked Jay White in a way that no one ever has multiple times. Yeah. Him and Hiroshi Tanahashi, G1 Final 2018, when Tanahashi walks through them slaps. Yep. Wrestle Kingdom main event against Okada, where they're just fucking drilling each other.
I think that's the best for me. That's the best Ibushi match I've seen. Him
and Kenny against the Bucks.
I'll throw in his 2019 matches in the G1. I mean, there's a bunch of G1 stuff we could throw. We thought 2018, him versus Omega, as you mentioned, him versus Ishii is also in there. But out through 2019, in that A block, him versus Suzuki, and also him versus Taichi, after he already fucked up his ankle in night one or whatever else, or that storyline or whatever it was to basically just move him off the path of being a high flyer. Those matches were amazing. Especially the Taichi match in the final, where it's just a Noah match. We're just kicking each other back and forth. Who's going to break first? It's an amazing match. Just an all-time wrestler, man. An all-time wrestler. Match didn't quite get 5 stars, which is disappointing. It's only, the disappointing 4 3/4 star match, the opener of Wrestle Kingdom 13, him and Will Ospreay.
Yeah. Not knowing who the fuck Vince McMahon was. Just the comedy.
Did you give him a high five?
Yes, give him a high five and shit. The comedy of Kota Ibushi, where you hear he wants to blow firecrackers up off his chest and shit, just an eccentric guy that
bumping on concrete.
Yeah, not signing a contract for years and years and years until whatever, just out of wanting to express his pro wrestling the way he wanted. And this guy's if you never watch if you're seeing Kota Ibushi now showing up in AEW and you're what's the big deal? Who is this guy? He's kind of looks like he's in his own world. He is in his own world. He's always been in his own world. Yeah. But this guy, you have to watch him. He's one of the quintessential guys of this time. And the thing about him is he's so adaptable with everybody. He's a great opponent for everyone. I don't know who is the bad Kota Ibushi person. Sometimes they just don't quite, whatever. He's great with Naito. He's great with Okada. Great with Omega. Great with Tanahashi. Great with fucking Ishii. Yeah, man. He's great with Nakamura.
Yep.
Whatever. Man. He was awesome. So, salute Kota Ibushi. Cedric Alexander, yes.
Yeah.
Cedric Alexander's career is still, in part going off of that match.
Yep. Who did he put over in the semifinal? Was it TJP or was it Lindsay Dorado? Not Lindsay Dorado.
TJP.
It was TJP, yeah. And then in the final, it was TJP versus
Grand Metalik.
Grand Metalik, right? I want to call my his own name, but okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Bruce Mel's moan. What's going on, Bruce? I miss the Young Bucks. What do you think they have in store for AEW when they return?
I don't know, but I'd like to find out real fucking quick.
I agree. There's a show in Daly's Place happening on January 10th. That sure would be a nice place to bring the Young Bucks back. At this point, Jack Perry's been gone so long too. It seems like he's been in jail forever. I saw something today on Twitter like Jack Perry is one day away from being as gone as long as Hangman held the world title. I saw someone say that. I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't look it up, but
that sounds about right.
Full
gear to what? Double or Nothing.
Yes. At this point, James, I got a great tweet. I don't know who it was from, but it was saying at this point we need to just ask Tony Khan, where the fuck is Jack Perry at? Just like fucking D'Angelo Barksdale. Like, where the fuck is Wallace? Where's Wallace String? Where? So, put those guys together. I'd like to see it.
He might be spinning until he signs an NDA. Who knows?
Jesus.
Well, yeah, we'll send you over there we'll send you home with pay just until you sign the NDA. You don't sign the NDA,
you can't talk. Run out. Can't talk. You can't talk about what's going to happen. Shannon Willis, he says, does Julia come into WWE as herself, a Japanese megastar, or do they lean into the Italian mafioso side? And then also predict
what is the Italian mafioso side? Is that the Bella Mafia part? Or Mafia
Probably.
Bella, I'm sorry. Bella Mafia is look him. It's Mafia Bella, sorry.
Probably. And
so
then
that's basically what Julia normally wears, except like with a furry coat. Okay.
Predict the men's and women's wrestling MVPs of the year.
What? Go through your Julia. What's your answer for Julia?
She's getting a gimmick. They can't help themselves.
Okay.
Oh my God, Julia with Tony D. Oh my God. Sick.
I don't know what Italian Julia actually knows aside from Donna Del Mondo and some of the names of her moves. So I can't help you with that. I don't know.
Man. Yeah, she's definitely getting a gimmick.
So put Julia with Tony D. Like, they won't get it. Or like their fans won't get it. Be like, why is this Japanese one with the Italian? Well, she's half Italian. Well, phenotypically she looks Japanese, so why is she even? That's what they'll do. I don't get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Men's and women's wrestling MVPs of the year. Man, that's tough. Seemingly, we've got a title change coming at WrestleMania. Who knows? Feels like there's a big year set for a few guys in AEW. Tetsuya Naito's got the belt. I don't know if he's going to deliver at the top level all year. I don't know. It remains to be seen.
Well, comparatively speaking, the top level compared to what? WWE?
Good point.
Yeah.
I mean, a safe bet is always Will Ospreay, but
that's what I'm gonna say. I'm picking Will Ospreay. I'm picking Ospreay. The fuck? He said it's a new New Japan. Yeah, I'll take him. Look, he wrestles Okada. Okay.
Will Ospreay gonna get to be on weekly TV? Man, it's gonna be hard to beat him, man.
Right.
I think you got to throw Swerve in that conversation too. I think Swerve's gonna win the title, and I think he's gonna have that bitch. So he's gonna definitely get some chances.
He's gonna be up there. He's definitely gonna place in the top 10.
I think as far as WWE, you got to look at Cody.
Yep. Can you look anywhere else?
No. Maybe Danielson. Never count Danielson out.
No. I just been in WWE.
Oh, in WWE, absolutely not. Yeah. Roman doesn't wrestle enough.
That's right.
CM Punk at this rate will not wrestle enough.
Right.
Seth Rollins, I think. Yeah, Brock, Rock, Seth Rollins, absolutely not. telling you that main event scene is a lot thinner than people think. So you start going through them. How long it is going to be until they break the glass on Walter?
It's not that thin because there's 2 titles and there's 2 shows. So then you can throw in Bobby Lashley and McIntyre and Sheamus.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton and AJ Styles.
All them niggas are 45. Like, except Drew.
And Cody, yeah. And, well, I get what you mean, like the older times. Yeah.
As far as women's wrestling,
women's MVP, I mean, whoever holds the red belt for most of the year. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah, I don't think AEW's gonna.
So whether that's Utami or Kamatani or Micah, those would be the 3 picks for me.
You know,
I mean, you could say Athena, but I don't know if they're gonna let Athena run through. Maybe unless they, let her drop the belt off to Billy Starks or whatever else, and then move up to AEW. I don't know. Maybe Mercedes comes in and it's Mercedes. I don't know. That'd be.
I was gonna say I'm gonna pick Mercedes Monet depending on like how long she takes. Like if she gets like settled somewhere before the end of January, yeah, well, I'll pick Mercedes because she's gonna have like a point to prove. I think. Shout out to Sir Sam.
Yeah. Sam said Charlotte Flair by who made the most money. Is like that's not how this works. That's the case, and Brock Lesnar would be the men's, right? The men's?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
King Dom, he's got these push one, demote one, release one sets from WWE and AEW. So push one, demote one, release one. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Gunther.
Ooh. From what I went out of pro wrestling, or for like the company?
For you.
Oh, push Gunther, demote Seth, and then fire Punk.
I'm going to push Gunther, demote Punk, and fire Seth Rollins.
You hate Seth so much.
He fucking stinks, bro. He's about to go into Raw next week, and Jinder Mahal is going to get...
Bro. CM Punk
Jinder Mahal is going to get cheered over him next week, James.
He
fucking stinks as a champion.
CM Punk.
Just demote him.
CM Punk unequivocally hampered your favorite promotion in the world, and you still chose Seth Rollins to fire over him. God damn!
Look, if I was running WWE, I'd be like, we done did all we can do with you. We gave you the belt, the other belt, right?
Bro.
And you've wrestled everyone.
There's nothing for CM Punk after a year. There's nothing for him.
That's fine. I'll take that year. I'll ride it out.
In fact, everyone's cutting the same promos on him like he's John Cena already. Drew McIntyre cut the promo, the you left, you're gone, things have changed, I'm different, everything's different, I'm going to beat you.
I am running WWE. I'm not going to allow them to get away with that simple ass shit. I'm going to say, hey, y'all going to come on with some new shit? Yeah, exactly. They're just cutting the AEW promos on them. I believe Sue Williams said, do you remember the Eddie Kingston CM Punk promos? Yeah. All right. Now imagine it was Drew McIntyre, and then like
nobody likes you. No one wants you here.
And then like took like the bottom out of it. Now you saw the Drew McIntyre CM Punk promos.
Mm-hmm.
Now this one's a little bit more nasty. Push one, demote one, release one. MJF, Jungle Boy, Daniel Garcia.
Okay. Push MJF, demote Jungle Boy by Daniel. Like I like all 3 of them. Obviously, the worst stuff from all 3 of them is the MJF stuff that we've seen this year or last year. But like he's a bankable star still, and like you can get him away from that bullshit if you're in control. Jungle Boy as a big match wrestler is a better big match wrestler than Dan Garcia, and the crowd is more into Jungle Boy than Dan Garcia. Dan Garcia is really good. there's just a limitation that I think he has based off of the look and based off of the positioning.
You know what?
I don't think he can ever be a TNT title. I don't think he ever be a TNT champion. Obviously, I know Jungle Boy can easily do that.
I think I'm gonna shock the world on this one. I'm gonna push Jungle Boy.
No, you're not finna do this. You're not doing.
I'm finna demote Daniel Garcia, and I'm firing MJF.
Okay, Rich.
I am firing him, firing his ass, sending him to the unemployment line, and I'll tell you why. Same logic as Seth Rollins for me here. You've wrestled everyone, damn near. Like, you had all these different promos and feuds with everyone. They've used so much TV time.
Hasn't wrestled Swerve. Hasn't wrestled Keith Lee. Hasn't wrestled. It has wrestled Takeshita. Like, he hasn't wrestled everyone. He's wrestled a lot of the top guys. Not everyone. Hasn't wrestled Hangman in a real program.
You know what? I'm willing to sacrifice that. Because he has wrestled everyone else.
This man's mindset. Okay.
Everyone else. And then he was responsible for some of the worst television. Some of the worst television I've seen, right? And I think he's already beat up.
Let me rephrase that. Some of the worst television you ever seen in AEW.
Correct.
Okay.
He's beat up. I know he's only 27, whatever. But I don't think MJ. I think you might have already seen the best of what you can do with him based on like all the legendary wrestlers that have been around him. I think I would take my chances on Jungle Boy being like just so much of the unknown in the future with him. Still younger than MJF. Still has a chance to wrestle all these people. We know he's unfuckwittable on pay-per-view. And then I'll keep Garcia as well, just because he's so young. He's even younger than Jungle Boy at that point. And I think he has an earnest connection that will build him up. And in 10 years, we're going to be talking about him like he's the new Bryan Danielson and stuff like that. Like, I think he's like, for the long term, all the character investment will only like match the wrestling skills as the years go on. For me, with those two, you're not going to get the promo work that you're going to get with MJF, but that MJF promo stuff can be a gift and a curse because you can talk yourself into the eat inning stuff, and then you fuck around and get in Bray Wyatt territory. God bless the dead. But MJF is like, obviously, he cannot be trusted with his own ideas, and I know I'm in charge of those ideas. I just think if I was running AEW right now and I was like, all right, where are we at? What do I likely have to pay for each of these guys? Who do I think I can do the most with going forward? I'm taking those two. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Y'all let me know. But that title run, that left a bad taste in my mouth.
I saw MJF have a bad title run that was in part because he was trying to get Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara up to him and Darby Allin's level. And because of that failure, it falls on ultimately MJF. But that also means that, like, we know what the fuck it is with Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara at that level. That dog ain't never gonna hunt. The idea that you can main event, I'm not saying he's a draw on this, but the idea that you can main event 80,000 people with one guy in there, and you can never in a million years imagine one of the guys like main eventing any pay-per-view. That just, for me, that seals it for me. I cannot put Jungle Boy on the main event of a pay-per-view, of an AEW pay-per-view, and get that shit to sell 100,000 buys or 150,000 buys, whatever the fuck they're selling now. I just can't. Same thing for Daniel Garcia. Never going to happen. They're like I mentioned, like their basement is their basement is far higher than MJF's or whatever else, but their ceiling ain't nowhere near close. I've seen MJF have one of the better feuds I've ever, or a couple of the best feuds I've ever seen in pro wrestling history. Sorry, it is what it is. I saw the Jericho stuff. I saw the Cody stuff. I saw this. Sorry, man. Sorry. I understand it was a bad title run, but that does not negate the other 4 or the other 3 years out of the 4.
I think I'm more in love with the unknown of the other guys, and then the more long term.
I don't think it's unknown. I think it's fucking known. That's where I'm at. Like, I like the potential is there, but the potential is the potential of the unknown is like, all right, you hand the mic and you have to hope and wish and pray it don't go bad, or the crowd doesn't Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy looks pissed and then does have nowhere to go there. Like the part where he was a babyface and they immediately turned him heel. I think I don't want to say he's show, but I'm like, nah, man, he's a mid Carter, and that's all it's gonna be. And there's no wrong being a mid-career mid Carter in AEW, right? He's a great wrestler. I think he's a more consistent bell to bell in ring performer than MJF is. But the investment of getting people to care and want.
Oh, they care about him.
Huh?
Look, they care about him now.
Oh, because of the CM Punk thing.
He gonna be able to use it in his favor one way or another.
Yeah, for a couple months.
Hopefully, hopefully he can come back.
Good point. MJF, even as bad as the MJF stuff was at the end, it's still MJF for me. I can't imagine. I couldn't imagine a scenario where like one of them two overtake him. I just don't.
King Dom also biggest what if duo in NBA history. Vince Carter and T-Mac, Grant Hill, or Yao Ming and T-Mac.
Those 3 T-Mac what ifs?
Yes. I'm gonna take Yao and T-Mac just because
those
like
3 options.
Yeah, it was those 3.
Okay.
I'm going to take Yao and T-Mac just because you got the big and small, not even really small, like motherfucker was 6'8" on the perimeter. Yao was like ready to start giving it to people, like, and if his feet don't fall apart, they might win a title. I know the high flying and stuff is sexy between, the cousins, Vince Carter and T-Mac, and, Grant Hill.
Vince never had it. Like, I mean,
stuff like that.
Vince didn't have a heart to be the second best player on the championship team. He had the talent, just not the heart. Whatever. I'm not gonna go my Vince Carter rant that you've heard me do a million times, Rich. But
I think he's going in the Hall of Fame shortly.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve to be a Hall of Famer. So whatever. Anyway, he's a compiler. Anyway, how many all NBA teams he make? 3, 2, 1.
I had to look it up.
All right. So anyway, the answer is for me will be back. Well, it's not even really fair because like the whole thing is like if Doc Rivers had this stupid thing where he tells Tim Duncan that Tim's wife at the time can't be on the team playing, then Tim Duncan. It's not just Grant Hill and T-Mac. It's Grant Hill, T-Mac, and Tim Duncan together.
True.
Doc Rivers is a fucking idiot. Anyway, but yeah, but you asked me like
I love Yao Ming.
I'll go look. I saw Grant Hill in the 90s. Grant Hill and T-Mac would have been a fucking problem together. It didn't work out, obviously. And then by the time you got to Yao and T-Mac, like, neither one of them can stay healthy together at the same time. So, but like, as far as what the highest ceiling for any of the T-Mac teammates, for me is Grant Hill before he fucked up his ankles and feet.
Tom Batista says, thoughts on Alex Coughlin going ass first into the table. I put that as a picture. That shit was funny, and I knew it immediately. I was like, I can't wait to get that as a meme.
Yeah. So I watched this on delay, and like when Coughlin went through that fucking table, I fucking howled. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like, and this is the reason why like New Japan camera work is superior. It is just the best. So yeah, and I'm currently in the middle of trying to make it my backdrop right now. And I see Rich out here plotting. He's trying to see who can be who to the punch. Me and Rich know each other too well. Like, nah, I got this. Don't steal the shit.
Boom.
Oh my god!
I was just showing the picture for anyone who didn't see it.
Yeah,
this is incredible.
Fucking hilarious. And like when they came in the match, like, why are these assholes out here? God damn it! Fucking American House of Torture or White American House of white American fucking White House of Torture shit. And then they go out there bump my down. I was like, all right, look, Dick Togo don't be bumping like this. Like he don't be, you know, he bumps, but not like this. Like he go out there with the rope wire. He has done that in a while, I don't think, but like it ain't quite as funny as this. So like I'm with this for now.
MJ does PR. Do some New Japan contract speculation. Clark Connors, Alex Coughlin, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, ELP, Kevin Knight. Where do you think they end up, and where is the best landing spot for each of them?
All right, let's go one by one.
Clark Connors. That guy can go anywhere. I think he is very underrated, and I think he's waiting for to like get a push. He reminds me of Tekla, really. Kind of like the same kind of joint. Like it's like, yo, the second you unleash them, kind of, you know, stature wise in comparison to everyone too, they kind of match up as well. But I think the second Clark Connors got like a serious push somewhere, he could pop off. I don't know if if the best spot necessarily for that would be New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him get over in AEW. There's just tons of guys there. I think if you I think New Japan probably is the best place for him right now. I think
so too. I don't think he's big enough name.
Keep grinding it out.
Just, like even if it's like, oh, bring him in NXT or whatever else. I don't think you want to do that.
I don't wish that upon anybody.
Like imagine being an LA Dojo person that's had to grind for all this time to get to finally being on, you know, being on these domestic shows, and then like you're just gonna end up back in a double or back.
Zach says they are dating. That's why they might be similar. I had no idea that Clark Connors and Tekla.
I didn't know that.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. But yeah, I say to stay in New Japan for now.
Alex Coughlin, same deal.
Same.
You don't do all them squats just to, you know. I mean, maybe, but Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, send them to the Fed, brother.
Send them to WWE and make sure that they never wrestle AJ Styles and his friends. Right? Like, no, can't do it.
Tell Tama Tonga we demand excellence from you, and maybe he'll listen.
Yeah, you'll get excellence from him, just as long as he ain't wrestling Anderson and Gallows.
ELP. I'm going to say New Japan, and you know I talked about how they had Jay and Ospreay.
Right.
It should be you have Zach and ELP, but David Finley's there, so I don't. You know.
Now
it seems like they can have two, but there's three guys for two spots.
I asked this because of the hair situation. How old is ELP?
I think ELP is 31. Commenters, help me out here. Get your merge. While we wait on ELP's age, no way.
Yep.
He's 37.
Yep.
Never mind.
That makes Yep. I mean, that checks out with his hairline. So, wait, does that mean
shit? He might got to come home or go home.
You know, it's funny, right? You know who he still ain't older than, right?
Who?
Momo Kogo. Kogo finna be 39 this year, bitch. Looking 23 and shit. Talking about she actually like 39 soon to be. Like, that's crazy, bro.
Shout out to Momo Kogo.
Shout out to JM. I still can't believe that shit. Like, how the hell did you find this, and why should I believe it? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Kevin Knight. You ain't getting pushed if you black in New Japan, seriously. Is he good enough to change all that? Maybe.
How old is he?
You have him as a
21.
junior, though. I don't know how old.
Mid-20s or late 20s?
I would guess late 20s. 27.
27?
This guy's super talented.
I don't think he has the frame to fill out to get to heavyweight, which is an issue.
And if you're not going to be a heavyweight in New Japan, you might as well start looking around.
But if he starts looking around, where he's gonna land, where he's gonna end up? Like his running mate in a way is an Impact right now.
Yeah.
Like if he can get on for AEW. I think he's a freak athlete even by AEW standards, but I don't know. Like he's unproven. Like you don't really get much. You don't really get a shot. Like unless you're Dan Garcia or there have been some cases, but like for the most part, most of the guys don't get
Like I think he walked in.
Continue like pushes to get to a certain level or whatever else. Like if he just wants to be in the roster and do his thing, then yeah, whatever. But if he wants to try to get to the top of whatever, like be a team champion or something like that, then like I think there's an outside shot for him there. Because obviously he's fresher, but obviously like I also think like he needs to kind of reinvent himself in the ring to do that. And I don't mean like the athleticism is in the way. I mean like. New Japan has a certain style. And I think for him to be on the indies or being wrestled in AEW, he's going to have to make some accommodations that I don't think he's necessarily is not necessarily his repertoire for that yet. Does he have potential for it? Yeah, because he's super talented, but I don't know.
He could walk into NXT and be like the top guy, like immediately, I think.
I mean, dude, look, if they did a Kevin Knight versus Carmelo Hayes match right now, I'd watch. I haven't watched NXT like since Gargano's last match, or since the what's it called? The old guys, new guys, like War Games. That was like 2 years ago. I'd watch that match. Kevin Knight versus Ilya, I'd watch that.
I don't know where the best spot for him. Maybe it's NXT. Maybe
could be. I mean, he's 27. I mean, look. Would you rather, if you were WWE, if you were Shawn Michaels running NXT, would you rather have Lexis King or Kevin Knight?
I would hit Lexis King with a car to get Kevin Knight, to get a meeting with Kevin Knight.
No. You should have been like, I would have hit Lexis King with a Lexus. But it's kind of what you meant when you said with a car. Still works.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would hit Lexis King with a car to get a meeting with Kevin Knight.
Yeah. Same.
J. Antonio Teodoro says, read the following list of James and ask if he thinks they will finish the story before or after Cody. Swerve.
Yes, before.
Garcia.
Would it be TNT title or what would that be? Beat
I don't know.
He already beat Danielson.
Yeah, he already beat him.
I'll say after.
Suji.
After.
Shooter.
After.
Mariah May.
Before.
Suzu Suzuki.
Before.
Emi Sakura. The story being a match at Wembley Stadium.
After.
Sky Blue and Julia Hart. The Goths finally paying Chris Statlander the reparations they owe.
I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that. I'll say before. Sure.
My man Yozora and the Hearts, Ten Chin or Ten Chi Jin Hart. Could Nick Nemeth be with the company Finley wants to be? Or could Nick Nemeth be what the company wants Finley to be? Also, if you guys have free reign to book anything, what would you do for Sting's retirement match?
Okay, first question, Nick Nemeth in Finley. Well, I think that Nick Nemeth, like, he has a world more experience than Finley. I think he's a better athlete than Finley. I think he has a better look than Finley.
I think he's a better talker than Finley.
He's definitely a better talker than Finley. Like, there's not too many things that David Finley does better than Nick Nemeth, except for, like, exist on this planet for less days.
Correct.
So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, I don't know if he can be what the company wants Finley to be, because obviously they don't push Gaijins as baby faces, like top Gaijins as baby faces, like at the top. They prefer to have like a heel there, like David Finley, like a Jay White,
right?
Like Kenny. They had
Bullet Club leader.
That's why I don't think you're giving Nick Nemeth the Bullet Club. I would be shocked. And look, maybe they do need something like that to shock stuff like that. Whoop David Finley ass, like, yeah, this shit never worked out anyway, so I'm here now. Hollow. But I think they're just in so dramatically different roles. I don't think they are the comparison. The comparison for Finley is, can he approximate what Jay White was giving you?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And what would you do for Sting's retirement match? Can I just say this, James? I think the Sting retirement tour so far has been shambolic.
There's no meaning behind any of the stuff. Yeah.
Like, where are the sit-down interviews? Where are the people that are talking about Sting? Where are the things being booked?
Right.
Where is the big deal of all this being? Maybe they're waiting to do it all at once, but I'm like, yo, why wait? Just like start doing this shit now. Like, you know, like all you've done for him is bring out Ric Flair. Like, I don't know. And it was nice that you brought Ric Flair for him, whatever, based on what he means to his career and stuff like that. But like, I don't know if you can get Lex. I don't think you can, or whatever. So you're probably in the hole there, because Lex is probably tied up in a Legends deal and going to Hall of Fame this year. So, I just hope they have creative ideas, whatever. And the thing with Sting is, like, he's been around so long, it's hard to really use people that are still with Sting, because a lot of
nobody's contemporaries really
are dead or legend deals. So I don't know. But if I had to book anything,
well, Vince McMahon had his way, then like Triple H would have been able to come in and help out with that. But Triple H got the book now. So remember when everyone was making the memes of Triple H on the way out? Remember that? When they were talking about like that man's gonna show up at GCW and shit. It's like, we're in such a better reality right now. We're so much, that was the darkest timeline. Timeline is kind of like, going skewed positive. So, but yeah, I'm with you. Like, a lot of his contemporaries are signed up to WWE, so it's gonna be hard to figure out stuff for him.
What would you do with Sting's retirement match?
Him and Darby. Darby got to beat him, and he got to hand it down.
Yeah, and he got to hand him the bat too.
Yeah,
and not even necessarily for Darby.
He got to hand him the bat. He got to hand him the what do you call it? The
jacket,
the duster. Yes, he has to hand him the duster. He has to hand him the face paint. He has to hand him what do you call it? The drop rope and all that kind of stuff. You got to hand him all of it. Got to give him all of it. Yeah.
Maybe we can get some videos of him showing Darby how to basically use the drop transport thing, like showing him all the different venues or whatever. Like, here's the secret door here. This is how you get up to the rafters and stuff like that. Like, a singles match with Darby is a nice, easy way to wrap it all up. I feel like, man, I think Sting getting a 1-minute match with everyone would be like, I don't know if Sting could do it.
You want to do the Stardom Gauntlet?
maybe not the whole roster. Like maybe you get like 10 people or 15 people or whatever that are important to Sting or whatever.
Okay.
And you do the 1 minute matches with them.
All right. So.
And then Darby's last.
How
obviously.
soon do we hear Dax complain that he did not make the list?
Oh my God.
You didn't think of that? You didn't think of that?
I did not think of that.
That's what would happen. He'd
oh
be
my
upset.
God.
He'd let us know that he did not make the list before it was able to happen. Yeah.
I think you could probably get like come up with some number that's important to Sting in his career or some shit. Like how many times did he win the world title? Like 11 or 12 times, and then give him like 12 men that represent like Sting's career, and get fucking Jarrett out there, get Lethal out there, get fucking obviously Darby's the last person, get Flair out there, like, and he's not taking a bump or anything, but have him get in the ring and then like lose by count out or some shit, or lay down for Sting.
Has Flair wrestled since Ric Flair's last match, that pay-per-view?
No.
All right, let it stay that way. Don't do this. We can't be doing another Sting and Flair last thing.
Oh no, I would just have Flair get in there, and then I would have Flair lay down, and then Sting covers him or whatever.
But
Jeff Hardy, my God.
All right. But I will say, like, you mentioned this, like, it's been shambolic, and it's like you got a point, because like Rossi Ogawa has managed to book people to retire with the first letter of their name start with H better than he has. Twice than Tony Khan has with Sting. Like that Hazuki retirement tour, that Himeka retirement tour, those were something. This one so far, not so much. And even Kagetsu stuff started was on point, and then even when she like went outside of Stardom to have a match with certain people, that was on point.
Like Shivani's got to interview him. Like hell, Jim Ross has to talk about Sting. Like what the fuck? Like there's
Jim Ross
so
still
much.
Around. I forgot about that.
There's so much still to do with Sting. I feel like all you got to do is look around. Jim
Ross retirement tour.
We've been on that for a while, bro. It's already been happening.
Right.
But it's like one of them.
When does it end?
It's one of them Inoki style ones.
I'm saying it's a Muto gimmick.
It's one of them Inoki ones where it goes on for like 4 years and shit. King Dom, who would make the better wrestling character between Dr. Umar, Run Them Donations Johnson, and Charleston One Glass Eye White? Dr. Umar, absolutely.
I don't know, because historically when you do pro-black gimmicks, or let me phrase that. Explicitly pro-black gimmicks, white people tune out, and it hurts your bottom line. So I don't know if you can get away with that. Now Charleston White, in the way that he like argues with other black people, I think that's easier for white people. You might have a point. I think that's easier for white people to get into as an audience.
He's making sense. I think Umar Johnson would be funnier. I think he would antagonize them quite well. And
but it's antagonized to the point where like it don't draw.
Yeah, that's the risk.
That's what you gotta worry about. They don't like being teased about how they actually are,
Like Dr. Umar made people feel bad about themselves. That's the thing. Even though like it's ridiculous. Like, oh my God, could you imagine the Dr. Umar vignettes at the school? We would see the school. What would that be like?
Oh no, but Abbott Elementary is more of a real school than Dr. Umar's fucking whatever he's been doing for all these years, and it hasn't come to fruition.
Brandon Vincandia, if you guys can make a kayfabe 30 for 30 doc and a real 30 for 30, what wrestling topics would you guys pick?
A kayfabe 30 for 30. A kayfabe 30 for 30.
Kayfabe 30 for 30. I'm picking Kenny Omega's chase to the IWGP title and all the fucking like branching trees off of that, like with explain the Tetsuya Naito episode, the Okada episode. Like I'm thinking 10 parts, fucking Last Dance style.
10 parts? OJ Made in America was 7. Get the fuck out of here.
10 parts. I can
Hey,
I can easily make 10 episodes off of that
all
shit.
those episodes are like 90 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, they were an hour. I can easily do that. Easy.
Okay. Let's see. What can I? They didn't even ask for no 7 part. You just volunteered that. Okay. Anyway. A kayfabe 30 for 30.
Daniel Bryan versus the Authority might be pretty interesting too.
That would be a good one, but then you have to like try to make it make sense in kayfabe as far as like how he was.
Oh yeah, because you couldn't
for like a week or two. Which is
you couldn't really. I don't know. You would have to use the reality of it too, because I think the reality of it is to actually. You know what? I take that back. Kayfabe 30 for 30. Brett versus Owen. Shout out to Rich Crates, who I did the music for the series Voice of Wrestling. That, for my money, is arguably the greatest storyline in WWF history.
Kayfabe, I'll probably go with Hangman up through because there's so many top starts that probably wouldn't be that good. I can't think of one right now. But as far as a real one, I mean, the formation of AEW for me. Like, as far as, like, what all that went into it or like, the last 5 years, whatever. So, you include the Punk stuff, you include MJF, or actually you go from there to Wembley. You go from the formation, basically, like, Jericho.
All in.
You go from Jericho versus Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 12 into All In Wembley.
Yeah. That'd be really good.
Yeah. Now, as far as the kayfabe one, I still can't think of one. That's really hard because I'm thinking of stuff that I would want to do. Like maybe you do one. See.
Speaking out.
I mean, easily speaking out. I mean, Dark Side of the Ring Unrecovered isn't going to do the Death of One Heart.
Jesus.
Oh. Well, no, that's nice real life. That's not even kayfabe. I don't know. I don't think there's anything kayfabe wise that I'm like I need to see this repackaged and repurposed so people to see that aren't wrestling fans necessarily. None that comes to my head in that kind of way.
I would do a 30 for 30 on the 4 pillars of All Japan, and then like Misawa, the death of Misawa.
That works. Like for all these for kayfabe, it seems like they work better for Japanese pro wrestling than American pro wrestling because like so much goofy shit. Yeah. So yeah, you might have a point there. Yeah.
I think that was our last question. So thank you guys for sending in all those great questions. That was pretty cool of you guys. So I really appreciate you guys sending those in. So I guess we can wrap this up.
Yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. That's the end of the show. Be sure to rate us and review us on whatever app you use to listen to this with. If you are watching from the stream, you can go to our show notes for the podcast, and you can find our link to our website and donate there. And be sure to listen to other shows in there besides One Nation Radio. You have Keepin It Strong Style. I'm going to say Rick and Clive. All Things Elite. WWE Adventure. Wrestling Art with Chris Things. Tunnel Talk. And Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.